Yes! You won by 1 point! By 1 point! By 1 point! What? Oh, no! Hold on! Hold on! Hold on! Look at that!
What? The fuck happened?
We gave you Japan, and what did you do?
I took the world. It was not enough.
Run a storm anyway. Ow! 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 Ow!
Plans worked. I don't know.
Hi, Chatters.
Hi.
Oh, bye, Chatters.
Oh. Oh.
No! Come on! Come on! Come on! Come on!
Go, man.
Wait, what? Maybe the crucifix. Oh. Wow.
Oh, your gravel track, yeah.
Thank you, Lord Clang. I didn't appear to have asked for your input yet.
Oh god, I keep on hitting shit. No! Right.
You dick!
Steve, show me your spunk.
Show me your spunk.
I want your spunk, Ghosty.
Let me see your spunk.
Welcome in, ladies and gents, boys and girls. Here we go. It is Fun Day Friday. Jebster is like 45 minutes after he said he was going, and now he's back. Welcome back, Jebster.
We forgive you.
Do we?
Yeah.
Oh,
At least one of you does.
On my green screen. Alright, so today, instead of, as you can see, we're playing Motortown in the background, but the main purpose of today is we're going to be doing a podcasty type chat where we are going to be discussing Titanic, and my fellow Titanic geek should be around somewhere shortly. I don't know when, because he's a numpty. Jebster, you happy just being in voice, or do you want to be on cam as well?
I don't have a cam.
Okay, fine. So just voice, that's fine.
Yes.
It's just because I can get people on cam so that their face appears on the stream, see? So, yeah, today we are going to be talking about the Titanic, and I thought a really, really good starting point for this, which unfortunately I haven't been able to set up for you guys to be able to hear, but I can play it for the stream, is to play one of the purported last songs that was played on Titanic before it went into the water. So, we're just going to get that playing. It should be royalty free, so this should be okay. There it goes.
If it's classical music, then yes. Or something classic.
Yeah, I mean, it still depends, but... So this is purportedly the last song. There's always been two suggestions as the last song that was played on Titanic as it sunk. And this one, Nearer My God to Thee, is supposedly one of those two. So this is, it's 4 minutes long, so that's fine. We can just chill and listen to this. Well, I mean, you guys can't hear it, but you know.
Don't mind me, I'm just choking a bit.
Oh boy.
What the fuck?
Oh, a lot of freezing in the game then.
Yeah. So apparently, one of the buses that was like right ahead of me wanted to just suddenly out of nowhere just glitch inside me.
Okay.
That's fun.
Loves you.
Well, I mean, my internet's trying to do a lot at the moment as well, and so as well as now just putting this song on.
But also, one of my taxi spots is literally at the. Oh yeah, it's at the gas station, so I'm going there now. No, sorry. It's not at a gas station. That's my waypoint. Where is it actually? It's in town. Cool. And expecting to be there in 3 minutes. Fuck no. You're gonna be very fucking late then. Do whatever you need then.
It could happen.
I am gonna have to refuel on my way down there, actually. Right, I'm gonna stop the music because it's not lyrics anyway. Right, so that is supposedly one of the last songs, or the last song that was played on Titanic by the band as it sunk. So you guys, so obviously it is this time 112 years ago. Titanic was on its maiden voyage. It was in the middle of its maiden voyage, or what turned out to be its maiden voyage, because it set sail on the 10th, right? And then it sunk, well, it hit the iceberg on the 14th, so we are at the 12th, so it's literally dead center in the middle. Anybody got any facts that they want to talk about the Titanic?
I'm making a PowerPoint real quick. It's gonna be very funny.
Fucking
Dustin will chime in.
Yeah,
I had one.
I've got more of a personal anecdote.
Go on, do
But
your
it's
personal
related.
anecdote then. Go on.
So, I used so you know there was like that one guy who was due to work on the Titanic, but then like got drunk the night before and like didn't make it or couldn't go on or something like that. And then that was over at the Grapes in Southampton, and they filmed a scene for the Titanic film there, where Leonardo DiCaprio gets in a fight. And I didn't work in that one, but I worked in the White Star Tavern just across the road from it. It was, of course, named after the White Star Line. I used to drink in the Grapes.
I have drunk a few times in both of those.
Yeah. Oh, blimey. I mean, it was a while ago. This was like 2012 I left. But yeah, used to work at White Star, drank at the Grapes.
I pulled the barmaid in the Grapes once.
Fair enough. What was she called?
I don't know. It was once many years ago.
I might have known.
Yeah, I don't know. We used to go in there for like after work stews and stuff, because we used to go out around there for work quite a lot. So Jibso, you remembered your fact?
No?
You sound confused.
Yes.
Confused by the whole idea.
Well, I have possibly
What are facts?
the nerdiest fact ever about the Titanic.
Which is?
Roughly 3 million rivets were used in building the Titanic.
I've heard that.
If only they'd used 4
At some
million.
point.
It's
It might
well,
have
no,
needed-
but that wasn't the issue, right? So
Yeah,
do
I
we
know.
now start to talk about one of the conspiracy theories? So
if you got a relevant one, then go for it.
one
Yeah.
of the conspiracy theories, based off of materials used on the Titanic, is that they used substandard steel in the build of the Titanic. So it's a conspiracy that Harlan and Wolff, who were the shipbuilders, cut costs in order to make more money from White Star Line by replacing the steel they were meant to be building the Titanic with lower quality steel which had more air bubbles in it, therefore it was more brittle than the steel that should have been used. Any thoughts on that?
At least
I
the
mean-
ship wasn't welded.
That doesn't seem like a conspiracy so much as just, I don't know, basic cost cutting.
That's
It can
cost
certainly be
cutting
true.
that everyone, like most of those companies do. Like look at Boeing. Like
They cut
Yes.
costs and see what happened to the door.
yeah, so like I don't.
Cost cutting
think
is a
it's-
common thing, but obviously it's compromising safety all the time.
Yeah, I don't think it was like on purpose. but also it was the biggest ship at the time, so they might not have known like how strong it actually had to be.
Right, connection lost. Cool.
I mean, it's wrong anyway.
Oh yeah.
The steel that was used in Titanic was the highest quality steel that was available at that time.
Yeah.
So it's false info. It's one of those things that people sort of throw around, thinking.
Oh yeah. People
Well,
have to
another-
find a reason to discount
Another thing is
something.
that if they didn't hit the iceberg the way they did, but straight on, they would have been fine.
Possibly. I mean, simulations
yeah.
have shown that yes, they would have done, because it would have buckled up and like the front would have crumpled, and therefore it probably wouldn't have it would have only damaged the first two bulkheads. And the problem, so the biggest problem with the Titanic was that the bulkheads only went up to, I think it was E deck, right? And what happened was the water level would go up, and once it hit the top of the bulkhead, which they figured would never go underwater anyway, the water would spill over into the next bulkhead, right? And that's fine if 3 of the 4 watertight compartments were filled. But the leak spread across all 4 of the watertight compartments, so that's the reason why the bulkheads just couldn't stand it. And then obviously as it sunk, the water did spill over the bulkheads and just dragged the front down. Oh, there he is. Hello, Thunder.
Hi, Thunder.
Miss Ben.
Come on, little
Very
historian.
nice.
What do you know? Come on, historian. What do you know?
Reel off every Titanic fact you know right now. We have 10
Yeah.
seconds.
Oh, are you doing that podcast thing?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
Get in.
Why didn't you say you were doing it, or you waiting for me?
I did say I
Good
Yes.
lord.
did you not read the massive notification that I sent out earlier today?
No, I didn't.
Why not? I
All
literally
I
told,
saw was the events channel, and it just said Monday, Friday.
and we literally spoke about it last week.
Yeah.
You should have waited.
Nah.
Nah.
It's 5 to 9.
And he's like shouting from
Well,
the
I
back
need
of
to
his
know
room.
Are you anywhere near your mic at all?
I mean, no, he wasn't. Clearly.
No.
I'm just closing my PlayStation.
Ah.
I need to know what this chat has told you that's...
Oh, what the actual fuck was that?
So
No,
so
He
far we
hasn't
have
told us anything about.
Yeah.
so far we have spoken. For fuck's sake, guys, stop with the mics. So
Oh, Thunder again.
so far
Shut up.
we started off talking about the fact that the one of, because I played the song, one of the 2 songs that was purportedly the last played as the Titanic sunk was Nearer My God to Thee.
Yeah.
And we spoke about my fact on the fact that Titanic was built using 3 million rivets, roughly. We have spoken about the conspiracy that Harlan and Wolff used brittle steel instead of high quality steel, which is not true. They used the best quality steel that was available at the time.
No, that was actually true.
No,
No, it is. They have actually done studies. And...
it is not true. The steel was brittle, but it was the best
Traversing.
quality steel available at the time.
Not all of it was. It was actually best. Instead of best.
The steel was good quality steel. Harlan and Wolff did not cut corners on the steel, and the steel had no impact because the steel didn't actually. Yeah, the rivets just popped.
Yeah.
Because it didn't cause, like a lot of people believe that it caused a gash down the side of Titanic. That was proved wrong very early on.
The rivets just popped out.
Yeah.
And
Then
yeah,
the second theory was that it was a dotted, like just a few pierced holes along it. But again, that was proved wrong. What actually happened is that it pushed one plate away and the rivets popped, allowing the 2 plates to become separated. So the hole is actually just the gap in between the plates that was made available
more
because
than
the
a
rivets
pencil.
were popped.
The width of a pencil.
Yeah. And then we spoke about the fact that if 3 of the compartments had been, and the logistics of why, but if 3 of the compartments were breached, then Titanic would have been okay, because Calantris brought up the point that if it crashed head-on, then it may have survived.
I have
So
a video. I have a video of this as well that we can all share. Yeah, I've seen a video where the entire front of the ship, right up to those cranes that were just below the bridge, the entire front of it was just gone, and it was still afloat.
Yeah, because they did simulations on it, didn't they?
Yeah,
So...
and the first compartment, the bow of the ship, had a a collision bulkhead. So if it had around it, that would have taken the full force of the impact.
Yeah, essentially a crumple zone.
Yeah.
Right, so yeah, that's what we've spoken about so far. Which you would have known if you'd have been here on time. Right, so what we said, any links that you want, that we want to use, that we want to talk about, etc., post in the gaming chat channel so that I can pull them up on stream.
Right, I might as well just post ocean liner designs up.
At the same point, are you happy just being in voice, or do you want to be on cam as well?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Hang on then.
You're very quiet again.
Give me a minute.
That didn't answer my question.
Yeah, oh, come on, Cam. Just a second.
Okay. There's a couple of bits you'll have to do to set it up, so but when you're ready with cam whatever, then I can sort you out and set it up. I get to use the feature that I set up.
The fact that's kind of about the Titanic.
Yeah.
If they welded it instead of riveted the hull.
Welding was still
would-
relatively
it-
new
it-
back then, and they
Yeah,
didn't.
but
they
dude,
did
shut up!
All right, let him talk, man.
Christ. If they would have welded the ship, and the damage would have been way worse.
No.
Because if the hit would actually have like gone through the entire ship instead of just that plate.
Yeah, I don't know whether you can say that, to be fair, but yeah.
But then again, you've never heard of the Japanese Fourth Fleet incident.
The which incident?
Japanese Fourth Fleet incident. Most of the ships in that fleet had been welded, and it was in the middle of a hurricane or typhoon, I can't remember what, one of them. And what they found was most of the ships that had been welded took more damage than the riveted ones.
Oh yeah, because there's less flex.
What actually, speaking of just clarifying facts, just confirm for me, Thunder, what date did Titanic set sail from Southampton?
The 10th.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So we are right now, we are in the middle of its maiden voyage, 112 years later. Not its planned maiden voyage, because that would have been a lot longer, obviously, because the plan wasn't for it to sink midway across the Atlantic.
Wait, it wasn't?
No, surprisingly not. They didn't plan for it to sink.
Oh, well, it's a conspiracy.
They believe there was an insurance scam.
So yeah, there is.
Scam.
So here we go. Another conspiracy then that's fairly relevant here, in that the Titanic is the largest ship that was built at the time, right?
Yes.
And the reason it's the largest is by gross tonnage.
Yeah.
Its sister ship, the Olympic, was actually built to identical specifications. They were built at the same time. Olympic was released a couple of weeks later, or a couple of months later.
Fun fact about that ship, by the way.
On the shipping yards.
Fun fact about the Olympic, whatever. That ship actually served in the war.
It did, yes.
Yes, it
Yeah.
did. It sank a submarine.
This is a medical ship.
And
partially.
the reason Titanic got so at the last minute they added the Parisian Cafe on the promenade deck.
Yeah.
And by adding the Parisian Cafe, they upped the weight of Titanic, which made it the largest ship in the world.
They also added private promenades. The sub, they weren't on Olympic until it had its refit.
So that's one of the conspiracies is that the ships were actually swapped out, and it wasn't really the Titanic that set sail. It was the Olympic that got sunk, and White Star Line pocketed the cash because Titanic was worth a lot more money because it was the record-breaking ship.
Yeah. Well, that and Olympic couldn't be they couldn't claim the insurance on Olympic because of what happened. It rammed HMS Hawk. Well, HMS Hawk went into it because the sheer mass of Olympic sucked the smaller ship into its side, and it bent it.
Wasn't it actually Titanic that did that?
No, that was the Olympic.
Because it was as they released from the berthing dock that it happened.
No, this happened way into Olympics, into its voyage.
Well, then that wouldn't bear any relevance because that would have been afterwards. Because Olympic didn't start its maiden voyage until after Titanic sunk.
No, it didn't. Olympic came first, and it had already started sail. Titanic got delayed because Olympic kept having incidents. It threw a propeller blade, so Titanic had to donate one of its propeller blades to Olympic, and then when the collision with the
you're so aggressive when you're talking, by the way.
They had to get Titanic out of the Thompson dry dock to speed up the repairs to the Olympic, which further delayed Titanic's maiden voyage.
Okay, yeah. The Olympic was
and if that hadn't happened, Titanic may not have wouldn't have hit that iceberg, because that iceberg wouldn't have been there at the time.
1911, June 1911 Olympics set sail.
Thank you.
Thomas Andrews, what a legend.
Yeah. Well, technically it's somebody else who designed it, he just fixed it. Yeah, there's the thing about the iceberg head on.
So
I think I finished my PowerPoint. It took me all about, I don't know, something.
Can we just make one thing clear?
Boy.
The way we see Titanic sink in James Cameron's film is not how it actually sank.
why?
There is other theories to say, even James Cameron.
What about it though? You like?
I need to find the video.
The best case scenario is Mythbusters doing a bunch of Titanic myths on it.
Nah, that was just a film.
No,
Right, no,
well,
that
yeah,
was
they
just
busted all
about-
the myths in the film.
Because I've never heard anything of the
Like, there are witnesses, so they should know, or should have known. Not that they live now.
Hawk. So yeah, it was HMS Hawk.
Where are these myths? Oh, come on. They're supposed to be here.
Oh right, so we were actually talking about separate incidents because the incident I was talking was the where the Titanic nearly sunk a tugboat when it was released from dry dock. Because as it hit the water, the wake drew the tugboat in towards Titanic, and they narrowly missed colliding.
That Titanic, when it set off on its maiden voyage, have you heard what happened to it
Did it sink?
as it was leaving the harbour?
Wait, it sank?
No, have you heard what happened to it?
Did it sink?
Because it actually nearly cracked. Well, another ship nearly went into it. Because as it was being tugged out of the harbour, another ship Titanic displaced so much water in the channel. Another ship that was moored against another ship broke its moorings and nearly its stern nearly swung into the side of Titanic as it was leaving.
I believe I've just stated this by mentioning the tugboat, right? It was a tugboat. It was a tugboat.
No, it was not a tugboat. It was an ocean liner.
It was a boat.
It was a ship. It was actually a ship, passenger ship.
It floated.
It floats. That's all that matters.
Do you know about the
It was okay. It was the SS New York,
Yes, thank you.
which was tied to
And
that was
what
tied
is
to
this-
that was tied to Oceanic.
Yeah, there's another story. There is a oh god, one of the survivors.
By the way, I am
The
going
whole
in.
family was actually scheduled to be on that ship. They were actually going first class, but because there was a coal strike going on at the time back then, Titanic didn't have enough coal, so other coal was taken off other ships for it to sail, and they transferred passengers from those liners to Titanic. And the one of the survivors was one of those people.
So I'm actually going to the dock tomorrow, the exact spot where Titanic set sail from. I was there last Saturday, and I will be going there again tomorrow. Because my parents are on a cruise currently, and that cruise comes in tomorrow,
Titanic 2.
and it literally.
Titanic harder.
Hey, have you actually heard about that story? Like this rich dude who wants to rebuild the Titanic and call it the Titanic
Oh,
2,
that is
and actually set sail on the same route.
Well, they said for years that they wanted to release a Titanic 2, and to be honest, I would quite like to see a Titanic 2, but
I just wouldn't want to be on it.
With modern safety equipment and all that.
what they always
Yeah.
stated before was that they wouldn't ever do it. They wouldn't ever build a Titanic 2 whilst people that were still affected by the sinking, so people that were alive at the time, that were
Yeah, most of them are
alive
dead.
at the time of the sinking were still alive, and
Yeah.
the last one of those, I think she died about 10 years ago.
2009.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So 15
I
years
tried
ago.
to
Damn it,
watch a
I was
video.
5 years out.
Yeah. That's so bad.
I put the historical thing. You can actually see the amount of survivors that survived. Oh, come on.
Well, there were, what, two... Oh, I'm going to have to pull up the stats page, I think.
I
'cause
still disagree calling the lady that calling her the last survivor. She wasn't even 1 year old at the time.
it doesn't matter, she was on the ship.
But she wouldn't remember.
Doesn't matter, she was still on the ship. She was on the ship. She survived from it, therefore she is the last Titanic
That's what I said,
survivor.
Oh, there's the last survivor.
So there were 2,453 passengers on board. There was enough lifeboats for 1,178 people. I don't think that includes the collapsibles that were on top, though. I think the collapsibles
They got added
Feet.
earlier.
the collapsibles were able to seat some more. Unfortunately, only one of the collapsibles was actually able to be launched because
Two.
of the time. No, I think one got launched, the other one was dislodged as Titanic sunk.
There was 4 collapsibles.
Yes, there was 4 collapsibles. There was only 2 in the water. One of them was managed to launch. The other one was dislodged as Titanic sunk.
And one got overturned when they yanked it off the top.
How? Because I think it was only like 800 or so survivors, right?
705.
Okay, blimey. Again, like I was a million miles away, right?
Yeah.
So 700 survivors out of 2,453. So 1,700. So more people died than they actually had lifeboats for anyway.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that the lifeboats in total were only
For the crew.
three quarters full.
There were
I
more
know
than-
some of them were much less, yes, but according to the stats, there was lifeboats for 1,178 people. If 700 people survived, then that means that roughly the lifeboats were three quarters full, right?
Yeah.
Why don't I just type this through?
Because at the end of the day, basically, almost nobody. I think there was a couple of people that were recovered from the water, but almost nobody was recovered from the water.
Yeah.
Because it was just too cold.
No, there was that one man. You saw it in the film. Well, actually, that was an outtake, my man. He was literally-
But Thunder. I said a couple of people were pulled from the water, but almost nobody survived that was in the water.
Yeah. Oh, like physically in the yeah. No.
Yeah. Yeah, so Jack was screwed. Jack
Yeah.
was in the water. Jack was screwed. So I know very,
Anyways.
very important point. Was there space on the door for Jack as well as Rose?
Yeah.
Yes.
Technically, yes.
Yes. Okay. I want to do my PowerPoint now. It's very quick and short.
Right.
Just a sec.
How okay, yeah, you have to stream it. Hold on 1 second.
Why
Well,
don't you
'cause
send
I've
the
got-
video to Chatters and he can stream it?
It's the PowerPoint.
It's in Discord.
Yeah, hold on.
Can't believe someone's using PowerPoint in 2024.
Loads of people use PowerPoint.
Well, what do you use?
Right.
now?
Can everyone see the blue screen?
I mean, I don't.
Hold
but
on.
Yeah, I can see
Yeah.
it.
Oh,
It's
God,
up.
video.
Okay.
Full screen
perfect.
it, my lad.
I have.
No.
Hey,
both
no,
of you.
you're not showing. You're showing the presentation. You're showing
Ah,
the
okay, hold up.
presenter's view. You're not showing.
Let
the...
me do. Let me change my to this one. There we go.
Okay, that's
Ah,
better.
there we are.
Go on then.
So, I hit the button.
Good. Nice.
Titanic.
Titanic.
Oh look, it's gonna get struck by meteorites by the way.
That's what's
Why
gonna
Why
happen
is
to
it
the Titanic
Titanic
2.
and why is it a ship?
I mean,
Next page.
You really should have had the Titanic letter and fall off at the bottom.
Why is it a ship?
Why not a dirigible?
Yeah, exactly. Why is it a ship?
Because it's not a freaking toaster.
No, the reason why it's a ship is because they wanted to make cruise ship for people.
Wow.
It's a ship. Okay.
Yes. Next, what do we know of the Titanic? I forgot if I did this. By
This
click
isn't
or
going to be
after.
one of those presentations where you literally just read what's on the slide and then move on, right?
It
You
was
really
one of
don't.
3 ships that was made. Yes.
You really need to learn how to present, man.
Right,
Nope. This is meant to be. It's meant to be this shitty. This is the part of the podcast where we have a shitty PowerPoint presentation by me. Why did people die?
Because they
Skill
threw
issue.
stuff and they weren't enough
Yes,
lights.
skill
Skill issue. I like that.
They didn't budget for enough lifeboats because they wanted to build more ships and be rich. I don't know. Something. I forgot the next words.
Philanthropy, that's not true. Board of
Hey,
trade, that's
hey,
fine.
Thunder, shut the fuck up. It's meant to be funny.
I mean, it was to reduce the deck size. That's why they didn't
Actually,
fill
they
it with
followed the laws
lifeboats.
of the
Yep.
standard at the time for the board
Right.
of
I
trade.
like how
James
yeah, no,
Cameron
they-
made a
they
movie
trigger.
about it. Why did it do good?
I know, I can answer that question. It's because
Wait,
Leonardo DiCaprio
wait,
sunk down at the bottom of the fucking ocean at the end.
Wait.
My God.
Because it was a
I
love story.
should've used
Jack
it
died due to
school.
incompetence, and James Cameron wanted Jack to die for story reasons.
I mean, everyone just wanted to watch it to see
I
Leonardo
forgot I had
DiCaprio
that.
sink to the bottom of the ocean, right? That's why I watched it.
Right.
Yes,
Then-
die.
yeah. Fucking die.
Oh, remember the actual character he played in a minute. Hang on.
Could Jack have survived the movie or not?
No,
Yes,
he was
But
incompetent.
not being in the movie.
Yes, he could have if you put the life jacket Rose had underneath the door instead of letting her have it. Rose, you're a bitch for letting Jack die. You could have had his children for fuck's sake.
Again, skill issue.
Yeah, you really are a rich bitch, Rose. I hope you died afterwards.
Well, dude, she didn't.
wasn't.
She was an old lady. Like, what are you on about?
I didn't watch the end. Thanks for listening to Titanic, the PowerPoint.
Titanic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hang on.
Thank
it's
you.
My turn
Thank
now.
you.
Hang on.
Oh god, that's another PowerPoint.
Also, there was a.
I'll post a video for you. Play that.
I will not be saving that PowerPoint for later.
Disappointing.
Do you want to play that one, Chaz?
Open chat, right.
Right, this
4
is about
minutes.
all the survivors. Well, survivors through time.
Also, I built a Titanic at one point, except I misspelled it. I actually misspelled it. It said Tartanic.
We all watching on Chaz.
712 survivors. See, you were wrong as well.
Yeah.
Aha.
Not. Right, here we go. Right, this is the time during the war, and yet most of them are alive. Yeah, Carpathia got sunk in the water. And
I was about to say, are you still getting mad about the Titanic?
no, this was an ad popped up. Yeah, Carpathia got sunk in World War One. Sadly. Still quite a few of them alive. Oh, some are dropping off. Oh yeah, all the people that died in 1929, all
hold
the
on.
rich.
The background music to this video is Nearer My God to Thee.
Yeah. Here we go. World War One, two rather. A lot of them dropped off there.
Ish, I
Oh.
guess at that point most of them would have been too old to be drafted though, so...
Well, don't forget, it was women and children.
Most. It wasn't all, but most.
Yeah.
You get the idea.
But women still, surely you know it, like, the most
Yes,
successful
yes, I know.
Spitfire group in World War II was the women pilots.
Yeah, but most of these people went off to America, didn't they?
A Night to Remember, not worth watching that film to be fair. That was based upon the book A Night to Remember, which is
Yeah. Oh, it's in
interesting.
colour as well, the film. I've seen it in colour.
Is it this whole video? Is it literally just a timeline of showing
Yeah.
the
Yeah, how many people die each year? They get smaller. Whoa.
I do like how Calantis' presentation like really set off Thunder's tism.
It was fun. That is great.
Like, no, it's all wrong.
1980s. Should say the
My
last-
PowerPoint was never meant to be very informative. It was meant to be slightly
There it is.
misinformatic and funny.
Oh yeah.
Or very high.
Actually,
highly
that's
misinformatic.
interesting. So the wreck was only discovered a year after I was born.
Ooh.
Wait,
When,
really?
when were
Yeah.
you
Really?
born?
It was
Aren't you
discovered
like 40?
years before
Yeah, I
I
was born in 1984, and the
Yeah.
Titanic
Took
wreck
that
was
long?
discovered in '85.
Where? I thought they
Yeah, look.
pretty much immediately knew.
75 years. Here we are,
Clearly
9
not.
people. This is when I started to get into it, and there was like 9 people still alive.
I mean, the thing is, coming from Southampton, obviously, I've always been
Or
interested in Titanic and always like known a lot about it.
Yeah.
It's interesting that the last survivor of the sinking wasn't a first or second class passenger.
it was
The
the
last
third.
survivor was the steerage passenger.
Third class.
That's a very interesting point. Milvina
Yeah.
Dean. Bless her. I remember
Do you see what I mean? She wasn't even 1 year old.
It doesn't matter. I remember a story about her when I remember her like when they did the 100-year anniversary.
Yeah.
They spoke about her a lot because there was a thing before them that she'd attended. I think she attended Southampton on the opening of the Titanic Museum. Because obviously you've got the original museum in Southampton, but then they opened what they call the Maritime Museum.
Yeah.
Which basically is the Titanic Museum. It's all about the Titanic. I've been a couple of times. But yeah, they opened that, and she was there for the opening. I actually don't know where it is, but I do have.
Did you actually meet her?
I don't. No. I didn't go to
That
the opening.
clip there is where you can actually see the engines they actually used in the film.
I don't know where it is right now, but I do actually have a Titanic bell. It's the bell. It's a replica, obviously, but it's the bell from the crow's nest.
But the alarm warning bell.
Yeah.
Didn't they put one of the original bells in New York recently? Like they salvaged or scavenged it from the wreckage, and they actually restored it and put it like in the middle of like what was it? Oh, what's that famous square thing in New York? I've probably completely blanked out, but at least they restored one of the bells and actually put it in New York.
I'm just trying to have a look. So one is.
Like it was quite recent. That's what I do
Oh,
know.
one is on. There's one in display in Belfast.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to look. Among
Is the minion-
artifacts
oh, the
is
minion's
the bronze
there.
deck bell that a lookout rang when he spotted the iceberg. It was recovered in 1987. Where is it though? Is the question. Oh, it just says it was recovered.
I
in
posted a video.
1987.
If you want to watch that, guys.
Alright, hold on. I thought you were setting up to be on cam if you wanted to anyway.
Oh yeah, how do I
Chapter, you're joining Motortown or are you doing something else?
So,
Never mind.
Thunder,
Yeah,
message.
Be joining in a bit.
Use like one of the sound alert things or something in the stream, and then I can invite you easily.
Thunder.
Ah!
If you just
Oh,
use like the
Thunder.
jump scare or something like that, then that makes it easy. No, so oh no, that's a replica. Crow's Nest Bell on exhibit in London. No, that's not a replica. What? Oh no, so it's in the Crow's Nest Bell is in London.
What's the Titanic? Singapore.
But the Titanic Museum, I think, has, I don't know. Don't know. I mean, if you can find the page, I can pull it up, but... No, Thunder, that's no good, man.
What?
Thunder, as I said to you, in order to go up on the stream as well, use one of the sound alert things in my stream.
The what?
Use one of the sound alert things in my stream.
cam up. Yeah.
Yeah, like that. Like Calantris has just done. Right, I'm gonna send Calantris an invite now, just because.
13,000 sound effects, satisfaction, and urgency. Yeah, no urgency.
You fat, useless sack of fucking Yankee danky doodle shite. Fuck off, will you please, yeah?
Fuck off, will you please, yeah? Right. So now, I'll send you an invite, and now you have to go to that link and just do the bits and bobs that go through on that link.
It isn't here yet. The stream together session must be started by.
Yeah. So just like.
What?
It's waiting for you to connect at the moment. So if you just sort of go through the bit on screen to set yourself up, and then it will tell you when you go backstage. Fruitbat's sort
What
of
happens if I
been
put my
through
other
this to test it, so Fruitbat will be able to help you.
What happens if I put my final drive
what do I
ratio
have
to
to do,
16?
That's pretty self-explanatory.
This is Thunder we're talking about here, though, Fruitbat.
Oh, right, okay. Never mind.
I can only go 30 kilometers an hour if I have a final drive on 16.
So what do I have to do? Do I have to go live?
I don't know, just do what it says for you to do on that page that you opened up when you clicked on accept.
A stream together session must be started by.
Yeah,
you to join them.
It started.
I
It just
know,
says
but
it's waiting for you to connect.
Yeah,
that's
but
the
where
thing,
will
I
the
can't
face
click
cam
on
be?
the link though.
It'll come up on my stream.
Resend. Hello, I clicked on the link.
I've come to talk with you.
What a sound alert.
What am I doing here? I love that song.
Hello, darkness, my old friend. I'm here
Alright.
to torment you again.
Invite. Oh, hold on. I think I might have to cancel it on here. Why can't you die? Oh. Right, remove guest.
This might be
Now go
broken.
back to...
I figured out the best final drive ratio. Just set it to 1, and I just have first key for everything.
I tested this out with the Fruitbat earlier, and it worked perfectly.
Oh.
Yeah, it's fine.
Oh, join as a guest. Sure, I guess.
Oh yeah, now it says you'll
Stream
get
with, oh, it's only for Chrome and Firefox.
I'm
using Opera.
It's the camera anyway, and you didn't want to be on cam, so I invited you as a joke. But
Yeah,
I've removed it from the thing anyway. Just because otherwise, like, I could do the same for all of you, but it would just be your, like, the cam would just be your, Twitch avatar that gets displayed, and that's kind of like, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, I'm surprised I have this much torque in just the first gear on a V12 turbo.
I got really fed up with my truck on Motortown because the wheels just keep slipping every time I go up a hill. It's annoying as fuck.
Oh fuck! How did I do the menu? Control B? No, B. I forgot the business thing.
Ah, there we go. Right. Push guest.
Chatter's the business thing, the bus thing. How do you take the menu up again?
It's a Thunder.
It's a double O.
Right, so that now shows on... Sorry, hold on. Minimize these screens. I've got so many windows open! I also hear myself through your mic.
Well, hang on, I'll put my earphones in so you don't. How's that?
I don't know, because I haven't spoken yet. That sounds better. Right.
Anybody else joining?
Get rid of this thing.
I would, but I don't have a webcam or anything. I have a phone, but...
Look at that, see?
You use that then?
Oh my god.
I wouldn't even know where to put it.
In
That's
front
what
of
she
your
said.
face.
Right, so you had this other video, didn't you? Let's open this one.
Right, these videos are about the engine that they used in the film.
Very open.
They actually upscaled them a bit because those engines weren't exactly as big as they should have been. They sort of like, you know,
It looks more impressive.
yeah.
They got like replicas of the props and engines and stuff in the Titanic Museum. And there's a thing where you get to there's a helm in the Titanic Museum as well, and you can steer the ship out of Southampton Water.
Nice.
This is actually really good. I'll share the working. Hang on, I'm gonna move
Is this like
this one up here, like that. I didn't do anything.
I said about sharing videos and stuff, you know, like interesting videos, man. Oh shit, I'm out of fuel. How?
I like you're next to a fuel
I'm
station.
literally right next to it. That's so unbelievable.
I'm just gonna move you to the other one that I've got everything set up on.
Okay, so no, cancel the autopilot. I forgot you do have to keep an eye on your fuel in autopilot.
Yeah, especially if you like switch this shit to sport. I've realized comfort's a bit easier to deal with even on the higher speeds.
2 reasons why I don't have the car in sport mode when it's on autopilot. One is because with the police car, if you've got it in sport, then it goes crazy and is absolutely useless. It drives off the road so much. And 2, because the engine the engine overheats on sport. Ow! Thank you, Gav.
Oh, I won't be able to post that one.
Because he needs to get there urgently, I might as well just fucking off-road this shit.
I so would like to post the 100th anniversary of they did on Channel 4 all that years ago. Of Jedward saying, "Think how cool it would have been if we were on Titanic."
I mean, everyone else thinks it would have been cool if Jedward had been on Titanic too.
I mean, it's there. It's there basically. Look.
Alright, so
Low fuel warning, find a gas station. Yeah, hold up, let me just, jump all of these fucking things. Over to the engine.
I'm just having a quick look through conspiracy theories. Because obviously this is going to be one of the most interesting things, right? Pack ice theory is not a conspiracy theory since it accepts that the sinking was an accident. However, it differs from the commonly accepted theory and is considered implausible by the vast majority of historians. Captain L.M. Collins, a former member of the Ice Pilotage Service, based a conclusion on 3 pieces of evidence and going off his own experience of ice navigation and witness statements given at the post-disaster inquiries that what the Titanic hit was not an iceberg, but low-lying ice pack. His book, called The Sinking of the Titanic, The Mystery Solved, goes into further detail about... Like, does it really matter? Like, the proof of the iceberg that it hit is based off of the fact that it was photographed by other ships with a big red streak along the side of the iceberg, right? Do you need much more evidence than that that's the one that was hit by the Titanic?
No.
They didn't find much of it because after it hit, they might have taken one photo of it, but after that, it sort of like melted away.
I mean, that's generally what icebergs tend to do, right? Like,
Yeah.
you see that. Alright, let's have a look. So what's it? This.
Hey,
Harlan
Jefferson,
and
you
Wolf.
want to join the party?
Harlan and Wolf obviously is not there anymore either.
There's a crane with HW on it.
Yeah, but the actual shipyard doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
It's like the White Star Line. The White Star Line does not no longer exist.
Yeah, it's they merged,
soon
didn't
she'll
they?
be rumbling down the slipway to
Cunard.
float for the very first time.
Yeah, although
Titanic was just
ironically,
one
the
of
docks
long and
that
proud line of
Titanic
ships
left
built
from is now
by this
P&O.
legendary company. And remarkably, most of the work was done by hand. Men drove home
And half the
red
people
hot
that did
iron
actually
rivets
build
into hard
Titanic
steel
did
with huge
kind of
hammers.
suffer a very
They
nasty
scaled
fate.
enormous scaffolding that kissed the clouds and overlooked their home city. Craftsmen, artisans, iron workers, riveters.
Was there anything
boilermakers,
particular in
firemen,
this video
and
here?
Gustav Wilhelm
It just shows you of
The
the
shipyard was originally
dockyard,
tasked
what
with
happened to
overseeing
some of them, and the
Fast
Wait,
forward to the second-
wait.
It
Here
was
we
with
go,
this
here we go,
arra-
here we go. Right. There is a problem here. There is a problem with this CGI image.
yeah.
Not you, Thunder. Can anybody else tell me what the problem with this CGI image is?
that the wheels
Oh, I see it straight away. Yeah,
Hold on, let me
yeah.
go pull the fucking stream up.
I know it doesn't look right, but
But you can
as the
actually
fate
see
began
what
to
it
turn, and The
says.
stage was now set for the
Okay,
construction.
I mean,
Yeah.
one, that's not the point I was on. I was actually,
That's not
Putting it
even
out.
Titanic. That was Olympic.
yeah. But Olympic was
this
still
arra-
built off the same premise, right? Still exactly the
Yes,
same
I know.
layout, apart from the top deck. So there is something else massively wrong with this, and a lot of drawings do this same
Arrangement.
thing.
There is a
Wheels
That's
of fate
wrong.
began to turn. and
Does
the stage
anybody
was
know
now set for
exactly
the
what's
construction
wrong
of some of the
with
most famous
this
ships of the world?
image? Actually, no. Oh, I think I got it wrong.
I think I know what it is.
It's
Fill
more
out their new
accurate
fleet.
than I
And in
thought.
return,
Are you
White
trying to
Star Line
say
would
it's the
promise to
smoke
buy
coming
their
out of the
ships
forefront?
only from Harlan
Shut
and
up.
Wolf.
I said you weren't allowed
It
to
was with
answer.
this arrangement that the wheels of fate
No.
began to
Is it
turn.
the smoke
okay.
coming out of the thing?
I actually
what
was
thing?
thinking the smoke.
For
The
chimneys.
stage was now set for
What
the
chimney?
How many there are of them?
Yeah, what's wrong with it?
Four.
I don't
There's
know.
one too many. Titanic had 3.
No, Titanic
not
didn't
a
have 3. Titanic
mathematician.
had four
They had four.
smokestacks. It was world renowned for having 4 smokestacks because it was the first. The Olympic and Titanic were the first ships to have 4 smokestacks.
What about Lusitania and Mauritania?
So, anything unusual in that picture there?
No,
Smoke.
not a thing.
I
Right.
can't see because the thing's in the Titanic image. is
Okay.
in the
Oh
middle,
yeah,
where
true.
you-
True. It is. Hold on. let me just hide that image for
Drum
a
roll,
minute.
drum roll.
Oh, it's not that bit. It's this one. Right now, anybody notice anything unusual about the smokestacks?
The rear one doesn't have smoke.
Okay. Do you know why the rear one doesn't have smoke?
Not
Famous
on.
ships the world
I do.
has ever seen.
So the
Why
rear,
is it not going to be connected?
the rear
There's an owl nesting in it.
Fast
smokestack
forward
of
to
the
second
Titanic
decade of the
was fake.
1900s.
It wasn't.
Harlan and Wolf.
And
It was
it's
a
same
dummy.
with Olympic. It was not a real smokestack.
It
There
was
was
a dummy.
there was a stairwell that ran up in the inside that you could go up, and you could actually. And there is a picture. I don't know where it is. I might see if I can find it in a minute.
Exploded into one of
But
the
there is a
largest
picture
shipping concerns.
of
I do
somebody
have-
stood
Belfast,
on
Ireland.
top
It
of
was
that
a
stoat,
vast
like
complex
stood
which was
inside of it.
dedicated to
Yes,
just about
there
everything
is.
you can
I've seen
imagine
it.
that
Yeah, I know
you
there
need
is.
In-house.
Oh god, where's that?
Okay, let's.
I think it's on the conspiracy theory.
I know there's an image of it. Oh, here you go.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
That's the forward funnel.
that is the forward funnel. Why?
You got the wrong photo.
Wait, but why did they make it fake? If it was like renowned for having four.
So
Basically,
the,
it was a ventilation shaft for the engine room to draw, because it would get very warm in the engine room. They wanted a better way to cool off all the engineers in engine room, and they used it as a ventilation shaft. And also,
the designers had decided that people would trust. Obviously, it was being billed as unsinkable, right?
Yeah.
So they figured that if they had a fourth funnel, when every other ship only had three, then it would actually, like, it would live up to its name. It would be unsinkable. It was.
Yeah.
So it was put there to make people believe the ship was safer, really.
Okay.
Other things on topic of unsinkable, it was never actually called unsinkable. At least from what Google told me.
don't trust Google.
So I think you'll find.
trust
You've had
yourself.
nasty Google again, haven't you?
I think you'll find you are partly correct. Yes, it was never called unsinkable, but they did things like adding that fourth funnel. They did things in order to encourage people to believe that it was unsinkable. They never publicly said it is unsinkable, and unlike the thing, there were no flyers that said Titanic, the unsinkable ship or whatever, but they did lead people into believing the ship was unsinkable, because that then meant that they would sell more tickets, right?
Yeah.
So the fact that everyone believes it was advertised as unsinkable is kind of like the fact of everyone believing
That BMWs are reliable cars.
What a comparison.
yeah, I mean, to be honest, I was going to go more along the lines of FIFA actually releasing a new game every year.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know, it's just... Yeah, they are releasing it, but everybody knows it's just the old one packaged up in a new packaging, right? You know?
Yes, with slightly better graphics. Every time.
Yes, new package.
New package. New package. Alright, let's go back to this conspiracy page. Let's have a look. So the Olympic exchange hypothesis, which we've touched on anyway, where they speak about the fact that it was, they were swapped around, Titanic and Olympic were swapped, it was actually Olympic that sank and Titanic, and then they got the insurance for Titanic, blah blah blah. The Titanic was sunk to eliminate the opposition to the creation of the Federal Reserve Bank. Some of the wealthiest men on board, so John Jacob Astor was on board, yes, Benjamin Guggenheim and Isidor Straus, and they were opposed to the creation of the US Central Bank. So I guess that conspiracy theory is that it was sunk to kill them, right? I mean...
Yeah, sounds like it.
That's a bit of a...
Quite an expensive thing to do just for two people.
Yeah, it's... Another theory involves Titanic's watertight doors. It suggests that if these doors had been opened, the Titanic would have settled on an even keel, and therefore perhaps remained afloat long enough for rescue ships to arrive.
It would have elicited slightly a few degrees to the the starboard side where it was hit. And its engine room would have been flooded, and would have some of the generators. So all
I
the
mean,
power would
this,
go.
but bearing in mind, this isn't saying it would have stayed afloat. This is saying it would have floated for longer, so more people would have survived. And technically, that's probably true.
Yeah.
Because it did say, what was it, 2.25 hours? I think it was 2.25 hours the Titanic took to sink, right?
Really?
Yeah,
I
it
thought
was
it was way faster.
no 2.25. But
Oh wait, as
two and a
in
quarter.
total, from hit to
Yeah.
sinking.
2.25
right,
hours is remarkably quick for a ship that size. Like it's amazing that it.
Yeah.
Chatters.
It was very fast.
Play that video, and you will learn where I found out about the Titanic's propellers, and also
Right, but
another.
Right,
There's an also
right,
an image.
but hold on. We're not just like. In order, because of like a podcasty type feel, right? We want to just keep things short, and we don't want to sit there and watch 20-minute long videos in the middle of a podcast.
It's not. It's just a short clip there. Well, I thought it. I found the interesting bit what it says about Titanic's propellers, and an image that fools everybody that sees it.
At what time?
But engineers
should
on
be on the
break
link, 'cause it
could
said
climb all the way
start at
up
blah, blah, blah
and get a
when I
breather, which was the speed record.
Just tell me what
Howard
tell me
Wolff,
what bit you
Titanic's
want me to
builders,
show.
The White Star Line, her owners,
I've
weren't
watched this
going
video,
for a
by the
speed
way.
record with the ship or her sister Olympic,
Oh god!
but they were also building the largest
Dude, you had it when you clicked on the link. It started at the thing. 31 minutes.
was the massive turbine room. It didn't vent smoke out of any of the boilers, but it did provide a huge towering shaft for the hot air in the turbine room to escape. Not only that, but
Here
it
we
was
are.
crisscrossed inside with access ladders so that engineers on break could climb all the way up and get a breather at the very top of the ship's
I
fourth
wouldn't have
floor.
liked to have walked on that floor or catwalk.
Of course, the end result was that all that power was provided to the propellers. The massive outboard props, 23 feet across, and the smaller central
They are
propeller,
huge, by the
driven
way.
by
23
the turbine, about
feet,
17
like, it's
feet
difficult to
across.
understand until
But
you
here
see
there was an
it.
opportunity
It's
for
huge.
Harland and Wolff to squeeze yet more power out of their design. The sheer strength of a ship's engines is useless if paired with a poor propeller design. And back then, in an era without advanced
are.
computer modeling and simulations, the only way to properly test was to put new designs into service and await reports from the ship's engineers. For designers, it was all a battle between power and efficiency versus vibration. The number of the propeller blades on the propeller, their angles, their size, their shape, it all impacted how Titanic and ships like her would operate, and until recently, it wasn't known that Titanic was actually experimenting with a different kind of propeller. See, no photos of Titanic's propellers exist. This very famous shot is of Olympic in 1911, and this one, often billed as Titanic in books, is again Olympic but in the 1920s. We know from these photos and engineering records that Olympic, the first of the trio, was fitted with a 4-bladed central propeller. But a recent examination of documents shows the Titanic was likely fitted
Is it
instead
intermission or something?
with a 3-bladed one.
Oh no.
This was
There is an
classic
outbreak,
Harland and
but
Wolff
it'll be over in a
experimenting with what would create the most efficient setup
had
while
it.
dampening the most vibration. Lusitania and Mauritania and dozens of other ships
Remember,
had
if
their
you follow,
propellers
you don't get
changed
the,
quite a few
if-
times
if you
throughout their
subscribe, you don't
careers
get
as
the
new arrangements
ads.
were tested. Of course, the results of Titanic's testing with the
Prime
3-bladed
subs are
propeller
free.
were lost when the ship sank.
That's how I
But
learned
after she
Titanic
did,
had
Olympic
only
was
3-bladed propeller in the center.
Okay, I mean,
They wanted to test which was better, 4-bladed or 3-bladed.
I mean, it was common practice for ships to have 3 in the center and 4 on the outside. I don't know the stats right now, but I have heard about that before, in terms of the reasons why, and there is reasons why the outside props had 4, and the inside was only a 3-bladed, and it's to do with the rudder. I don't remember exactly why, but I know that there is like pretty big reasons as to why 4 blades actually impedes the performance of the rudder, or 3 blades in whatever way, like
Too much force for the rudder.
yeah,
Probably.
4 blades impedes the impeller, but 3 blades, and it's because of that movement of water over the impeller. So one of the theories was that if it had have been a 4-blade, it could have been worse or better because it would have had less maneuverability, but going back to earlier point, that would have meant more of a head-on collision with the iceberg.
You know about the central propeller's propulsion thing, right? It used steam from the two other engines to turn the center propeller, don't you? That's why you see it in the movie. That's why it stopped, because it could only go forward, not in reverse.
Remember, most people know nothing, so talk as though people know nothing and explain it rather than just say you know, don't you?
The central propeller was actually a turbine, unlike the other two engines for the Titanic. The reason why White Star like the main two engines as they are is they didn't cause as much vibration as a turbine did at the time. Because when Lusitania and Mauritania were launched, they had turbines as engines, and reports were coming in of vibrations from them. So what they did, they used the two main engines, and the steam that was coming out of them two at the end was being sent to the central turbine for the central propeller to turn it. And if you can actually see it in the movie, when they tried to reverse the propellers, the central one had to stop because it could only go forward, not in reverse.
One of the things that I love, right, is the fact that you go on and you say, well, the movie was wrong in this sense because it did this, and James Cameron will say that, and then another point,
actually, they didn't get it wrong.
And then at another point, you use the movie to prove a point that you're saying about, like, either the movie's right or the movie's wrong, right?
No, it is actually right, though. What was I going to say? But I only recently discovered that they could actually reverse either one of Titanic's engines could have reversed to help it turn a bit better. If they reversed the port engine, it would have helped it turn to the left a lot more quicker than...
I mean, staying at full speed would have also helped them turn quicker, so...
Yeah, God knows what. They did try and port round it as well. You swing to the left, and then you swing your ship to the right, and it throws...
Yeah, it throws the arse end out. The problem is it was just too late, which...
It was too late, yeah.
It's just unfortunate. Why is that... That bus is still white. That's annoying. Anyway, I don't know why it's lost the colours. So, we spoke about, like, conspiracy theories and stuff, right?
I know what
we've spoken quite a few on conspiracy theories, but there's another point that I'd like to touch upon.
Is it about the coal fire?
No, because the coal fire's there, but the coal fire is kind of like, it's a factual thing, right? The coal fire happened. There was a coal fire in the engine room. But,
I like the boiler room. Bunker, rather.
But why is it... Why... Like, I don't understand why the coal fire thing is a talking point.
Because they reckon the fire from the coal bunker weakened one of the bulkheads.
Right, but we already know that... We already know that it sunk because of popped rivets, right?
Yeah.
If it sunk because of popped rivets, the only thing the fire could have weakened was the rivets themselves, and then it's not a conspiracy anyway, it's just an accident that happened, right? It's just something else that led to the disaster.
Yeah, but they reckon Titanic also would have survived a bit longer if that bulkhead had not been weakened.
Well, if it had been weakened at all. But again, it's just leading... It's not a conspiracy. That's just leading to a point that it just leads up to something that may have caused it. And maybe it did, maybe it didn't. To be honest, it probably didn't, because that heavier ship colliding with an iceberg is going to cause structural damage. And it was extremely unfortunate in the structural damage that it occurred, that it meant the Titanic sunk, right? Now, there is something So there's a couple of things that I actually wanted to make sure we brought up today, right? And one was the fact that, do you all know about what's her name? Mrs. Brown.
Molly Brown.
Molly Brown.
Oh, I hate that show.
Unsinkable.
No, as in
Burner Boys.
the lady
The
that was on
passenger.
Titanic.
Margaret.
So Molly Brown was a passenger on Titanic, right?
Yeah.
Let me just pull up. So she was an American socialite.
Okay.
She was featured in the film. So if you watch the film, she was the big lady, you know, the big gobby lady who was up in first class, and that was like supportive of Jack and Rose. That's Molly Brown, right? And she earned the nickname of Unsinkable Molly Brown, right? She did survive the Titanic. So she unsuccessfully. So remember in the film where she was telling the crew to turn back to look for survivors. She was
That's in an
shouting at them.
outtake.
No, it's not. It's in the film. It's in the film. She did that, and they didn't turn back. But she was in. So I'm trying to look quick. She was on a couple of other ships that also sunk. What were they?
What did you say, sorry?
She was on other ships that also sunk.
Or near disasters, right?
So it's her fault.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Brown how after her death unsinkable because she helped in the ship's evacuation taken. Oh, okay, maybe it wasn't. But yeah, she's one of the biggest characters from the Titanic, the real story of Titanic, that was highlighted in the film. I don't want to go reading all the way through this. She's a volunteer, philanthropist, and suffragist. She was a suffragist. She didn't. No.
Nice.
Yeah.
She likes to suffer.
Oh my gosh, you don't know the suffragettes movement. Fucking hell.
No, I do
How
not.
are you?
Is that a problem for
Do
you
you
suddenly?
seriously not know the suffragettes movement?
No.
What gave women like pretty much all of their rights?
All I know is that back in like 1913 or something, most of the women got rights.
Because of the suffragettes, right? Like
like causing like shitloads of issues.
Yeah,
until
I
they got what
don't
they
know about
wanted.
fucking UK history. I know about Norwegian. And even then I'm hazy about.
Oh
Emily
my! I can't
Pankhurst.
believe you've just classed the
I mean,
suffragettes
it's
as
fine,
UK
but yeah,
men.
look it up. They were baller as fuck.
Anyways, right. So going on other people on the Titanic, there is a point that it's something that James Cameron has said from the film that it's the one thing that he regrets including in the film. Does anybody know what that is?
No.
Oh, he regrets including or not including.
He regrets including in the film. There's one thing that he showed in the film that he thought that ended up being sort of disrespectful, if you like.
Was it when Jack has a crafty wank about midway through?
I mean, I don't remember that bit of the film. You were obviously watching, you were obviously
haven't
watching
seen
a
the
different
extended
cut.
cut.
You didn't. You saw a different cut than I did. No,
You
so
should watch the extended cut then.
so you know the point where when they're all going down to the lifeboats and Fourth Officer Lightholler shouts women and children first, and a guy tries to barge through, and he shoots him.
That's probably common practice back then.
That is the one point at which there wasn't much proof behind. Nobody nobody that survived it has actually said that they saw it happen.
Mm.
The only evidence for it is that a few people have said that they heard a gunshot. But bearing in mind the chaos and stuff that was going on around, they could have heard anything and assumed it was a gunshot.
They were putting rounds above their heads. I think it was William Murdoch.
Quite possibly, but again, that's speculation. But the point that Officer Lightholler shot a passenger for trying to get onto the ship is like the one point that James Cameron regrets to including in the movie. Because he thinks that that was unfair.
Murdoch, not Lightholler.
Oh, was it Murdoch? Okay.
Yeah.
He regrets the how that made the family feel afterwards, because obviously it wasn't something of definitive proof, and obviously it puts him in a bad light and all of this. So that's the one thing that he said after the film. It's the one thing that he wishes he hadn't have done with the film.
Also, him pointing a pistol at his own head and taking his own life.
What part did you watch?
No, after
Well,
he
I
shot,
never watched it.
After he shoots Tommy dead on the deck, he salutes the other officer, and then shoots himself in the head and takes his own life.
I mean, he may have been on about that whole scene that he regretted, but
yeah, I heard he got in a little trouble with that.
Well, I know that he has said that's the one point he regrets.
If you actually see it rerun on TV these days, they actually cut that bit out.
All right, let's talk about another point as well then. What about Captain Smith, right?
Oh God, how he died.
So obviously,
obviously
Titanic was Captain Smith's last voyage.
He was
due to retire afterwards. He'd already announced his retirement. Everybody knew about it. It was his last captaincy. Obviously, no blame can be put on Captain Smith because he was literally asleep. He was off shift when everything happened. He got woken up.
He wasn't asleep. He was.
He was asleep. He was
there
woken.
Was a party being thrown in his honor.
No, he was woken from his cabin and rushed straight up to the bridge.
That's not what I heard.
Right, anyway, he was woken from his cabin and went straight up to the bridge. But that's not the point. The point is, tradition always states that a captain goes down with his ship, right?
Yes.
So first point,
they can't really enforce it.
First point of discussion is, has it ever been right for a captain, for it to be a rule, even if it's like it's not a rule that's enforced, it's kind of like the doctor's code and stuff like that, where it's just understood to be accepted as fact by everybody. But is it right, or was it right at any point that a captain should go down with his ship?
No. There is a rule,
open to everybody.
That the last person to leave a ship must be the captain.
Thunder, open to everybody. I want everybody to discuss it. Should it ever have been a rule that a captain should go down with his ship?
I mean, I can't agree with Thunder that the captain should be the last person off the ship.
Yeah, it shouldn't
doesn't mean
make
have to go
that
down
everyone
with
has
it.
left. It's essentially the thing.
Yeah, you don't have to go down with it. But...
Shouldn't go down, but last to leave.
Okay, so based on that point then, if somebody is trapped, if during the sinking of a ship, any ship, even a modern ship nowadays, if during the sinking of a ship something breaks and falls on somebody's leg and it's too heavy to remove and you can't move them out of the way and you are the captain, do you go down with the ship because that person, you can't get them out, or do you save yourself and leave them to die?
Mercy killing,
if you can leave.
This is the same thing that happened with Lusitania.
Which goes against what all of you just said about being the last to leave, right?
Well, no, mercy. I said mercy killing, then off they go.
Yeah,
I think I know what you're referring to here.
Prioritize.
I'm not referring to it. I'm just mentioning a point because I think it's right, but everyone's always taught, right? Even if you work for the police, fire brigade, ambulance, the one thing you're always taught is the first thing you do when you enter a scene is you look for hazards, right? And no matter what happens, the most important person at a scene is yourself. Always, always look after yourself first. Now, I believe, I don't know, because I've not spoken to anybody that's captains of cruise ships and stuff, but I believe they are probably told the same thing to make sure they are always safe. So, yes, they should stick around and make sure everybody else is safe, but if there's no other option, then they should get themselves safe before helping other people, right?
Yeah.
So, next point, the film shows that Captain Smith went back up to the bridge and
onto the bridge.
Stood there and just stayed there whilst the ship sunk, right?
Yeah.
Nice image. You know?
Yeah. But I've heard other things as well.
So,
Can you hold on for a second while I go to the bathroom?
Right, we'll go to the bathroom. That gives them a chance to discuss their opinions of what they think happened then. So, what do you guys think Smith really did? Do you think he... I mean, we all know he died on Titanic, right?
Yep.
So, did he die valiantly? Did he die by, as the film shows, did he go up to the bridge? Or did he die helping passengers? Or how do you think he died?
He went to the bridge, and then when he was alone, having done his part, he beamed back up to the Starship Enterprise.
Yes. I agree with this. I agree with this. That is correct.
No.
That's the most correct answer.
No. You got to come up with your own idea.
Okay. He got picked up by aliens after he left, so no one can actually find his body.
That's basically the same idea, right?
Doctor Who appeared and took him back with the TARDIS.
Hey, same thing.
Said,
Get your own
"Look, in
idea.
the future, you did good."
Fruitbat, don't you wish you hadn't have come up with that suggestion now? Like you'd waited
No.
until last.
No, it was mine, and I've got it, and they don't.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Don't you wish you'd have waited till last so that they couldn't steal your idea?
Nah, that's fine.
Okay, let's do it different then. Doc Brown from Back to the Future came with the DeLorean. They said, "We need to go back to the future," and then they went back to the future.
Yeah.
They wanted Agent Smith's gonna suddenly Agent Smith. Captain Smith is I'm thinking Matrix now. Fuck's sake. Captain Smith is gonna reappear.
Back to the Future.
Captain Smith is gonna reappear in at the 150th anniversary and go, "Hey, here I am."
Yeah,
it's
they're gonna
me.
say the
Waka
movie's
waka.
wrong.
Okay, so obviously, Thunder, your idea is going to be shaped by what you know. What do you believe Captain Smith did at the end?
I've heard stories that he
Right, but taking in all the different stories you've heard, what do you believe he did? What do you think his last actions were?
I think he just went on the bridge, but one of the ideas I've heard
Okay, right.
sounds
That
nice,
if that's
though.
what you think,
Yeah.
that's fine. I personally have a different. I believe one of the other stories. So one of the other stories from people that were on overturned collapsible boat C was that because they were on the bottom of that boat. Obviously, it's overturned, so the bottom is above the water. And the passengers that were on that collapsible, they recount that they saw Captain Smith carrying a child, swimming with a child from the water. He picked a child up from the water, and he took it to collapsible boat C, and he handed it to them before he then swam off to try and find other survivors. And nobody else had any sightings of him after that.
That's what I've heard as well. He sort of...
That's what I believe, because I believe somebody in that position would have... they wouldn't have gone to get in a lifeboat or whatever, but I think he would have been trying to save as many people as possible. So that's the side that I kind of believe to be the thing that was probably right. He would have got away from the ship when he knew that he had to get away from the ship. in order not to be dragged down, and then he tried to save people afterwards.
I heard the same thing, but he put the baby in the boat, but then disappeared under the water as soon as he got the baby. To
I
the
mean,
boat.
that's romanticism, isn't it? Really,
Yeah.
to say that he handed the baby over and then just sunk down like Jack from the
Right.
movie. Like, you know,
Yeah. Think of
if
the
he had
movie.
enough strength to carry a baby over and put him in, he had enough strength to go away or get pulled up onto the boat. The fact that his body wasn't recovered meant he left them, and there's no way he just sunk down, because you don't do that. When you die from hypothermia or from drowning, your body doesn't just sink, your body will float for a short time, or for a long time even. Your body will float.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't have just sunk down. That's the problem with the ending of Titanic. As fun as it was watching Leonardo DiCaprio sink to the bottom of the ocean, he wouldn't have sunk to the bottom of the ocean.
No. What was I going to say? We've all seen the film. Right at the end, before he disappears on the bridge, there's that lady with the baby asking him where he should go, or they should go, and he hasn't got a clue, and he just turns around and walks off to the bridge. Do you reckon that Cameron took the theory that you had and added that scene in, just like that?
He may have done. I think Cameron's idea behind, he wanted to portray Smith as a hero.
Yeah.
Which I think he was right to, because I think rightfully Smith was a hero. He had a long successful career. He was a well-renowned captain. He had, I think he had a pretty unblemished record. Until, well, his record was pretty clean. Like, he'd never had.
I've heard other stories.
He'd never had many incidents.
There have been a few incidents. That's what I've heard.
Right, heard, but back up with proof. Like, right, he was a British Navy officer, right? Let's have a look. Does it give? He was a Royal Naval Reserve. He was a commander. He fought in the Second Boer War. He was 62 when Titanic sunk. The only thing on Wikipedia, at least, the only point, he was Majestic's captain for 9 years. Okay, I just captured a suspect without doing anything. Awesome.
Majestic. I'm trying to think of the Majestic. I can't picture.
When the Second Boer War broke out in 1899, Majestic was called upon to transport British Imperial troops. Smith made 2 trips to South Africa, both without incident. And in 1903, for his service, King Edward VII awarded him the Transport Medal, showing the South Africa clasp. He was regarded as a safe captain, and he gained a following amongst passengers, with some sailing the Atlantic only on a ship he captained.
That is true. I have heard that.
So he was a renowned captain. His reputation was for being safe and for being a very good captain. So much so that people would only sail on a ship that was captained by him. That's...
I know what else we can bring in. I've just thought of it. Right, you've heard when Titanic got to, it was after sea trials, or just before it left Southampton, he did a officer reshuffle. Have you heard about that?
Yes.
I think it was the first officer he changed. And the first officer that was fired was clearing his locker out. He happened to take a certain key that was proved to be quite vital in the end, because it was for the locker where they stored the binoculars for the lookout.
So your facts are slightly wrong there. He wasn't fired, but he
No, he
was
wasn't
he
fired.
was due to sail on the Titanic. There was a last minute change. I can't remember why, but there was a last minute change that meant somebody else took his place.
I think it was because of Olympic or something.
I don't know. I can't remember why, but there was a reason, and it meant somebody else took his place. Or I think it was so first officer Lightholler it would have been. So Lightholler took his place.
Murdoch. Lightholler was actually going to be first officer, but then...
Is that why I keep... Wait, one sec. Charles Lightholler, he was commanding officer in the Royal Navy. Two weeks before the sinking, Lightholler boarded the Titanic in Belfast, acting as first officer for the sea trials. Later state, I was thoroughly familiar with every and a battle. It took me 14 days before I could be confident with finding my way from one part of the ship to another on the shortest route. Captain Smith gave the post of chief officer to Henry Wilde of the Olympic, demoting the original appointee William Murdoch to first officer and Lightholler to second officer.
Yeah, David Blair got removed from his station.
The original second officer, David Blair, was excluded from the voyage altogether while the roster of junior officers remained. So, Fleet was the one who... Oh, here we go. While the roster of junior officers remained unchanged, Blair's departure from the crew caused a problem as he had the key to the ship's binoculars case. The missing key and resultant lack of binoculars for the lookouts in the crow nest became a later point of contention at the US inquiry. So yes, it was because... It wasn't any of those though, it was because it was Blair who was the second officer and he was demoted because of the... other appointments.
Yeah.
But yes, he kept the key to the binocular case on him inadvertently. Like, there's no weird he did it on purpose to spite him type thing. Inadvertently, he still had the key on him for the binoculars case, which is why they didn't have binoculars on Titanic.
Ah, but if they had it, they would have been able to see the iceberg, therefore, no collision, Titanic's safe.
Right.
Can
I'll just correct you when you say they would have been able... Possibly they would have been able to. You cannot say, without a shadow of a doubt, that the binoculars made a difference, but possibly it did make a difference.
Yeah.
So possibly it was a big point, which is why it's in the inquiry.
Right. Can you now, in the chat, just pull up that Explorers of Titanic video and show everyone what they find?
Jack shit and porno.
No.
I'm correct, right?
Well, what's my fuel situation in game? It's still good. Alright.
Keep watching.
Right, the binoculars, right?
Yeah.
In copper, in perfect condition.
And the waste pump is the Feinstein thing.
It was.
So you're saying
I mean,
the iron
the waste pump
was it good?
That's one thing.
So you're saying that the metal pipes actually helped the binocular stabilize the electric.
The night the Titanic sank, the lookout in the crow's nest had no binoculars. They'd been locked away and the key was missing. The lookout survived. He said that if he had had binoculars, he would have seen the iceberg in time for the ship to avoid it.
This is a girl who works in France.
Are these the binoculars that could have saved the Titanic?
And she works in France. To come across these is just such an enlightenment and such a wonder. It's really wonderful.
I would love to do a Titanic dive.
Yeah. The wreck is actually, well, disintegrated. It's also
For
been
2
bent
lucky
when
weeks
keep
of
landing
good
all
weather, the team
ROVs on top
dived
of the
every
deck.
day, recovering all sorts of objects from the Titanic.
But I mean, like like, so there is you, because I specifically got you to watch, didn't I, when I did the stream of in VR, because there is a Titanic game where you can explore the wreck of the Titanic now, and it's really good. It really does like, if you're into the Titanic, there is a desktop version of the game as well, so it doesn't have to be in VR. But if you are really into the Titanic, highly suggest you get that game.
There also is a I'm not sure if it's coming out as a demo. A tour of Titanic. It is actually really, really good. They do deck by deck, room by room, tour guide, everything. I've been watching some of them.
Well,
like, oh my god.
Do you know there's one that you can get already? It's a really, really old game.
Oh,
but
it's
it
not
is
that
a
one we like playing, is it?
It's a really, really good game, but it's a really old game based off of Titanic still. And it's called Titanic: An Adventure Out of Time. Right? And Titanic: Adventure Out of Time is basically, I've got it on Steam, so it is available on. Let me look at the store page actually.
Why does it sound like a game where the Titanic has become a time machine?
It's not. Let me explain it in a minute. So it's £4.79 on Steam, right?
That's it.
And basically, and I mean, when I say this game is old, it was released on Steam at least in 1996.
Steam?
Yeah, it can't have been released on Steam in 1996. Maybe they're Maybe they're posting that back. So maybe it is
This isn't the game you played that one night.
No.
Kept asking me, and
No. So Titanic: Adventure Out of Time is, I think it probably was released in 1996, so it's back on like Windows 2000 days, right, or Windows 95 days, right? And I had it on, I had it on disc. I think I've still got the disc around somewhere.
What's it called? Titanic
Adventure Out of Time. And basically what happens is you're like this war, this spy guy, right? And you start off in your flat and everything, like, it's the war and it's all like your flat gets bombed and you get obliterated. And as you get obliterated, you get sent back in time. This is your mission to Titanic, and you're in a cabin on Titanic, and you basically have to go around Titanic, and you have to go and like figure out certain things. There's a big mystery about Titanic, so you get to walk around the entire ship. You get to go all the way down. You find like a body in the Turkish baths.
Like a pixelated game.
We got
Titanic. Yeah, it was made in 1996, dude.
Yeah,
What do you expect
I mean, like
the graphics to be like?
We've got Titanic.
No, it's not. It's not pixel. No.
No, but like with basically actual people posing.
Yes.
For the characters. Yeah, I think I've seen it.
So I have streamed it. Let me copy the link address. Here. So there's the link to the game, and you get an idea on the thing, but every part of the ship is recreated in computer graphics. You do get to speak to some notable characters. I think Molly Brown is featured in the game, Strauss is featured in the game, and there's more people in there as well, and you get to travel all around the ship, and it's a really, really good way, like, of learning how the ship's layout was, because you get to go to every spot and you can literally like move around the ship. At one point, I couldn't do it anymore, but at one point I would have been able to tell you, if you'd have said from here to here, I would have been able to tell you exactly how to move to those points on the ship, because not all of it is clear. For example, to get down to the swimming baths, you can't just get a lift straight down and go to the swimming baths. You have to go, I think it's to D deck, and go all the way down through second class passageway, and then there's a left somewhere there, and in there is a doorway which leads you down in towards the swimming baths, right? And you can learn all that by playing the game. But the idea is you have to go around and get, like...
Oh, crap.
You have to solve the mystery, and basically you have an Enigma machine in your cabin, and there's a German...
It's the one I saw you play.
There's a German spy on board. Well, you may have seen me play this as well. Yeah, this isn't the one I told you to watch me play, though.
I know, I remember watching, and I was a bit tired at the time.
But yeah, you have to, like... There's a German spy on board, and you have to decode... You have to get into the wireless room, and you have to receive a message in from the Germans, and you have to decode it using the Enigma machine that you have in your briefcase, and that helps you. It doesn't help, like, the Titanic still sinks, but obviously, but you get to change the course of the war in the future that you started on. It's a really, really good game that involves Titanic, basically.
Good.
And it was where I learnt about the lights, the fourth smokestack, because in that game, part of the mission is you have to go up the staircase in that fourth smokestack.
Okay, cool.
So it was where I learnt about that, was in that game. So yeah, that is a really, really good game. And then the recent one, which is called Titanic VR. But there is a desktop version of it, which I also I think I have, right? Do I have the desktop version?
Moment looks like the stream is frozen.
Still looks good on my side. Just refresh that page to make sure. No, the stream's still live. It must be frozen just on your end.
Okay.
Yeah, so Titanic VR, which there is a it says supported, so maybe there's a desktop version of it. That allows you, like, in that you're a research crew, and your job is to go down and explore different parts of the Titanic in the sub. And then there's some, like, cutscenes and things like that involved in it. And that's just really, that's a really, really good game in terms of seeing, like, where everything is, how the ship is, how vast it looks. And it's really impressive, especially in VR, to sit there in VR in this submersible that you're controlling and you're moving around, and just to actually be able to see. And there's a point, they poke fun at James Cameron by having one of the missions is a crew that's shooting a movie there, and they need you to be extra lighting, and you have to be in the right position. If you're not in the right position, he hurls abuse at you and all sorts. It's quite funny. But yeah, it's a bit of a shout at Cameron. But yeah, that's like, if you're into Titanic, it's well worth having those games. Well worth having them. I mean, the VR experience one, like, I think the biggest thing with it is because a lot of it is taken from what they know, so it does actually feel, although the graphics are not, like, super realistic, obviously it's VR and it's difficult to do that, but, like, traveling down through the ship and discovering the grand piano in the stairwell, or going down into the post room and seeing all the stalagmites that are growing and stuff like that, is absolutely crazy, and is just like, it really does make you feel as though you're down there in the ship. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anybody else for any more on Titanic then? Have you still not remembered the fact that you had early on, Jebster? Like, surely you must have remembered it by now.
What did I name it?
No, you just said you had a fact, but you couldn't remember. You must have remembered by now, right?
I wasn't thinking about it. I don't remember.
Whatever.
Basically.
Thunder, anything else you want to talk about Titanic? The man with the facts, my fellow Titanic geek. Possibly more of a geek than I am, because he knows more stats and figures than I do.
You still say you don't think the fire helped in the sinking. I think it.
Wait, I
does.
didn't say that. What I said is it may have been a contributing factor, but it was not. It's not a conspiracy. It's not a thing that says, oh, somebody set the fire deliberately in order to do this so that it would, right? You know? It's not a conspiracy. It's just a factor that possibly could have led to the sinking, right?
How about, right, think of all the delays that Titanic had, getting ready, going through its sea trials and all that. Do you think, if they hadn't happened, Titanic would have never hit that iceberg?
Was, okay, let's have a little look at...
Oh,
I mean...
that's all circumstantial. Like, if you leave your house 5 minutes later, then something might not happen.
I mean, yes, that is one good point, but then another point as well is the fact that we're talking April, we're talking this time of year, like right now, right? If the ship had sailed any earlier, closer to Christmas, surely there would have been more icebergs. So therefore there's a bigger risk that this might have happened, right?
Yeah.
Or, yeah, but would the same crew change have happened?
Yes, because Captain Smith picked his crew because of people that he knew and trusted. That's why he changed the first officer. The reason he changed that was because it was somebody who had served with him on Olympic, so he wanted him on his retirement voyage. So it was delayed from March the 20th to April the 10th because of Olympic's collision. So March the 20th would have been almost a whole month
There was two,
earlier.
don't forget, it threw a propeller blade.
Right, I just put Titanic delay, and it came up and said it was delayed from March 20th to April.
Yeah, but there's
10th.
also the delay that Titanic had to donate one of its propeller blades to Olympic, as that ship was currently in service in Titanic.
Right, hold on. Original sail date, as I said, April 10th. No. No, sorry. Wait. Planned. Right. Let's have a look. The official date for the maiden voyage of the Titanic is announced as the 10th of April. This was originally intended to be the 20th of March. So the original sail date was the 20th of March. But it was delayed to the 10th of April. So it was literally just a month before. As I said, that would have just increased the amount of icebergs in the water, right?
They would have maybe not necessarily taken the same route to New York. They would have probably gone south.
Well, I mean, they were meant to go south anyway, and they only decided to go that far north because they wanted to beat the time that they were planned to get there to
they wanted to
look
get
impressive, right?
Night.
You know, so that was a decision, but it was a decision made by the captain. Was it made? had Captain Smith had known that there was going to be a great big fuck off iceberg that they were going to crash into and sink on the way, then he would have probably said, nah, do you know what, let's stick to our original path, right?
Yeah.
Seems logical.
Unfortunately, he wanted to impress, and understandably so, a maiden voyage of a ship, his last cruise, his last voyage, his last captaincy, the biggest ship in the world, the fastest ship in the world, the most like this was the Titanic was huge when it was released. It was like it was the most luxurious ship. It was everything. So let's get it across quicker than everyone expected. Let's do this.
Lusitania and Mauritania were faster as well.
For its size. I mean, it was the largest ship in the world as well, so nothing else was as fast. But
fastest ship for its size.
In its class, it was the fastest ship in the world.
Yeah.
In its class. But I mean, you can't blame them for that. I don't think. I think it was just.
You could argue and just say Olympic was faster, because Olympic was 45,000.
Olympic had less weight, but as you've already stated, Olympic had a different prop setup, so I think Olympic was slightly slower, actually. I believe.
We never found. We don't know.
I believe if you look up stats, I think Olympic was slightly slower.
The speed trials were due to take place on the Monday, which obviously never happened.
The other
thing.
Go on.
Sunday. There was a scheduled lifeboat drill. They would have had to stop. I think they might have had to stop Titanic, but it never happened. Would that stoppage also delay Titanic's collision? Or even would it have missed it? Or would it have just happened later?
What, by a lifeboat drill that would have lasted, what? How long would they have lasted in that time?
I don't know.
Half hour, right?
I know they mentioned they cancelled it. It was in that series they did.
But also at the same point, during a drill, right?
Yeah.
Same as when I went on a cruise. When they make everyone do drills when you go on a cruise. It's so fucking annoying. Because you're constantly being told, watch this video, watch this video, watch this video. And it's like, you watched it, you go, you scan your little card over to say that you've watched the video and you've gone to your evacuation point to show that you know where it is and all this, right?
Yeah.
So you do all that, and then the next port you visit, the next day it says, you got to watch this drill. And it's like, we fucking watched the drill. We watched it like yesterday or the day before, you know? And it's right, but the message goes out to everybody, but if you've already done it, you don't have to do it again. But did they stop the ship while we were doing the drill? No, they didn't. And they wouldn't have done then either. Like, the captain and certain crew would have still been guiding the ship, but they would have done the drill outboard. So even if a drill may have been cancelled, but even if they did the drill, they wouldn't have stopped the ship while they were doing the drill, right? It's not like, hold on, we need to do
the crew had a lifeboat drill and they didn't know how to properly lower the lifeboats or how full.
I mean, to be fair, even the crew that were well-seasoned officers that should have known what they were doing still dropped the lifeboats with too few people in them.
They weren't, they weren't sure of the weight.
And in fact, the lifeboats were registered for a certain amount of people and they still sent them down with less than that number of people in them.
I have seen a video actually saying how many people they did put in each lifeboat.
But it was less than what could fit in them.
Yeah, I think only maybe one or two boats actually had the full capacity, plus a little more in them.
But the problem there goes to one, staff training.
Yeah.
Because obviously the staff weren't... They were panicked. They were in a panic situation. Yeah. But also, I don't think any of the staff really believed the ship was going to sink. Because everyone believed the hype of the Titanic being unsinkable, right? So even the staff didn't believe it. Like, they believed that they were just sending people out and they were going to be coming back to the ship shortly. that was one of the biggest problems, is people didn't realize how serious it was until the ship started porting and listing. And once it was listing the port and dipping at the bow, at that point, once everyone realized that they had to get on the boats, it was kind of a bit of too late, because most of the boats from the port side had gone, so they could only get on the ports on the starboard side. And once you like look at the angle, because I think it was at about 6 degrees at this point, so if they'd have tried lowering the boats on the starboard side, then they would have like hit the side of the boat and
That's why
probably
you see
toppled over. And
so many boats go away as it gets lower and lower.
okay.
Oh, God, what else was it?
But yeah,
Oh, yeah.
there was a lot of points that I think just went wrong. And I mean, this is why the maritime law changed drastically after Titanic.
Yeah, I was going to say, you know why it only had the 16 lifeboats and the 4 collapsibles, don't you?
Yeah, because they had the maximum that was required by law.
By the British Board of Trade, which had not been updated in years.
No, but then nothing of this scale had ever happened before.
Yeah, basically the myth was any ship over 10,000 tons doesn't have to carry all these lifeboats, but if it is under 10,000 tons, they do, because what they believed is the bigger something is, the more water, the longer it's going to take to sink.
But
and
that's
the smallest,
But that's technically true.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Titanic ended in a very unique situation that nobody really could have foreseen happening. And the fact that it sunk so quickly is still... I think that's one of the biggest points of conspiracy theorists, of just saying, oh, well, but with what they say happened, couldn't have happened because it wouldn't have sunk that quickly.
Passengers also did help towards the sinking as well, because many of them, after the collision, opened the portholes in their cabins to have a look outside to see what was happening.
Do you really think do you really think a porthole being open is going to make much of a difference when the bow of the ship is already underwater?
It's going to help fill it up a bit faster.
Not really. Not when the bow is... Once the bow's underwater, that's it. It's gone.
Yeah.
Once the bow's underwater, they're like... There's nothing else you can do. Once the bow is underwater, the bow's underwater, right? Like, no matter how many other holes you open, the only thing you're going to do is aid it sinking a bit straighter, really, rather than go bow down, right? So the other point that I did want everyone's opinion on. So Thunder, you're gonna have to shut the fuck up for a minute, because I want everyone else's opinion on this before. Does anybody know about the Californian?
I've heard of it.
Yes, I do. Oh.
Do you know about the Californian's role in the sinking of the Titanic?
No.
Yeah.
Anybody?
Yeah, I do.
Yes, I know you do, Thunder. I told you, shut the fuck up. Anybody?
No.
No, I've heard it had...
If you've seen the deleted scenes from Titanic, you
anybody in chat, does anybody in chat know the Californian's role in Titanic sinking? I'll give you a few seconds to answer. Shut up, Thunder! Dick. Alright, so the Californian, do you know how far away the Californian was from Titanic when it sunk?
Yeah, I think it was about 10 miles or less than that.
I thought it was less than that. But anyway, the Californian was the closest ship to Titanic when Titanic.
Do you want to tell them what happened before all that? Why it wasn't answering Titanic's distress call?
If you're talking about the operators, then we'll go into that in a second. But if you're not talking about the operators, then...
Yeah, I am, actually.
Yeah. So...
Well, two things, actually. They got stopped because they were surrounded by field ice. And they weren't going to work their way through it until daylight. So they stopped. And this is where the radio operator comes into play now. They radioed Titanic to warn them that they were surrounded by ice and they'd stopped.
They did.
And
they did. Titanic had a...
Titanic, at the time, their radio operators weren't White Star, they were Marconi.
I think...
And they only made money by sending...
Wait. Because before you talk about this, you do realise that the Marconi system, the Marconi wireless system, I believe...
Yeah.
It was the first time it was used was on Titanic. Everybody else was under a different system. Hold on. Let me check. I need to check this. So, because Marconi himself, I believe, was on Titanic.
I know the system had broken down, so the radio operators were behind on sending all the messages out. When he was trying to catch up with the...
Right, the Irish-Italian wireless pioneer Guglielmo Marconi had been the first to see the advantages and commercial possibilities of equipping ships with wireless telegraph equipment. About half of the 19th century in December, more than in 18... Okay, maybe not. What is it? By the time of Titanic's maiden voyage, most passenger ships had Marconi installation. Okay, so I was wrong. Alright, fine.
Oh, for crying out loud, ads.
Because a lot of one of the things that a lot of
some ships at that time hadn't got radios or had a 24-hour watch manning them.
Okay, there's another little point after this for that. So going back to Marconi though, right? So one of the things that a lot of people don't realise is a lot of the pictures, even that image that we saw earlier as well, the Titanic had a cable that ran from the stern to the bow of the ship, right? Or more or less.
Yeah.
And that cable wasn't featured in that little video that we saw earlier, but that cable was the Marconi wireless system. There is something about it, I don't remember what, but they were testing something to do with it on Titanic.
Probably the range.
It may have been. But you are right in what you said in terms of... Sorry, hiccups. So the Californian, basically, earlier in the day, they'd stopped their progress because there was too much ice in the field. They had sent warnings through to the Titanic. The Titanic had received, I think it was something like 10 or 12 messages from other ships about warnings of
you see
extreme ice in the area. So they had the messages. Titanic were well aware of the messages. They were well aware that there was plenty of ice, but the Californian operators had and again, as you said earlier, they had gone to sleep because ship was on rest. They were parked up. They'd anchored up. They were waiting for the ice to clear. And they weren't 24-hour operators, so they had gone to bed.
Well,
now, when Titanic sunk, Titanic they first sent out their emergency message of...
CQD.
CQD, that's right, CQD.
Yeah.
I can't remember what it stands for, do you know?
Come quickly, distress.
Okay, there we go. And instead, they tried the brand new recently adopted. I believe it's the first time it was ever used.
No. It wasn't. It had been used on other ships before. This has been on QI as well.
Okay.
They only say it was Titanic because obviously.
Okay, right, fine.
Titanic
So,
and
alright, maybe it
thing.
was used on other ships before. But they used the brand new SOS call to send the request out. So they sent that out via the wireless.
Philip joked, try sending SOS. It's the new call. It may be your last chance to use it.
And unfortunately, Californian would have been the closest ship, and they would have actually been. They were close enough that they would have been able to get to Titanic, and they would have been able to take on board the passengers had they have got there.
I've heard of this. They actually did do a test, and they found out California wouldn't have been close enough to actually have got there.
They were close enough. The inquest found
California. Its boilers were cold. Anchor was down. It would have taken time to build up steam pressure. I don't know how long for a steamship like that, or California.
You know that the California, specifically, but as well as the operating company, they were all charged under maritime law with failing to get to Titanic, and they were, under the official inquest, they were named the responsible party for the majority of the deaths.
They were just looking for but you argue today you can't because the wireless operators told them to shut the fuck up. They were busy, and if they'd have listened to the warning that they gave them, who knows what might have happened.
Oh. Wait, hold on. Sorry, I may be mistaken again. In 1992, MAIB report concluded that Captain Lord and his crew's actions fell short of what was needed, but the report did concede that even if proper action had been taken, Californian could not have arrived at the scene until well after the sinking. It was also noted that he did not know of Titanic's distress. Lord twice took his ship across an ice field to help search for survivors. I mean, there's no question about what they did afterwards, because, to be honest, like...
Have you heard what Olympic tried to do?
Go on.
Olympic was actually going to sail towards Carpathia to take some of the passengers off. Now, you've just seen Titanic go down.
For you guys that don't know, Carpathia was the it was the ship that arrived first. It arrived, I think it was double the distance that
I think it was 26 kilometers.
I used to live on Carpathia Drive in Southampton years ago.
I think it was.
Well, so most of Southampton roads and stuff are named after ships and things like that. So yeah, that's understandable.
Carpathia sadly was sank in World War I.
Yeah, Carpathia was the ship that arrived first to Titanic. It arrived before any of the other ships, even the one that was like half the distance from it, because they were all still asleep. That's the funniest way of saying it. They were asleep. They didn't care. They were asleep. So yeah, Carpathia was the one that arrived, and Carpathia was the one who took on most of the passenger, or all of them, I think.
Well, the survivors.
Yeah, okay. But I don't think anybody else picked up any.
Olympic wanted to come and take the passengers off because there would have been more room for them, but the captain of the Carpathia said, "No, stay away. All these people have just seen Titanic go down. They don't want to spook them or scare them with an identical ship coming towards them."
I mean, could you imagine that though? Like, You've just been on Titanic, and Olympic is identical apart from a couple
The
of
fracture, I
changes,
think it was-
like
yeah.
literally an extra cafe and a little bit of change up on deck. Apart from that, the two ships are identical.
I wonder what would have been where the cafe was.
And they're gonna turn around. I think it was just an entrance.
Oh,
Because
we
if you
can
have
talk about refits if you want.
But then, can you imagine, like, yeah, turning around and going, "Oh, bring them on here. They can have the same room and everything." Like,
Oh, just
we'll
stay away from the
even
cafe.
run them into an iceberg just so that they get to recreate the experience. Right?
Yeah, exact same one, but we'll do it on the opposite side this time, so there's two scuffs.
Sheesh.
And it'll be on the exact opposites. So it's on the left, we'll do it. If it was on the right, we'll do it on the left side this time.
Yeah, this time we've experienced. We know how to get off the ship now.
Yeah. Oh, and just
Yeah, we're
remember,
right by the side
don't
of you,
jump
so
off.
you know.
Oh, just so
That
you
was
know,
just a drill,
this
just
ship,
don't worry about it.
unlike Titanic, can sink.
Oh, it would have been great if they called it the unsinkable.
Right. Anyway, did we finish with the California? Yeah.
The problem with the reason why Titanic was never called unsinkable is because
of all the safety features.
Well, no, it's superstition. Superstition dictates that if you call a ship unsinkable, it's going to sink.
Yeah. Didn't you remember?
Oh, wait!
The
Before you move on,
submarine.
this reminds me of another thing, right? Does anybody know about the stories that were fictional stories based on cruise ships that was released before Titanic sunk? Does anybody know about this? Because this is freaky as fuck.
Can you just hold this? I need to go to the toilet again.
Right, you go to the toilet while I ask everybody else. Like, fucking dude's got such a weak bladder. I'm here drinking a whole bottle of fucking wine, and anyway.
I don't think I've heard of it.
Fruit Pat, do you know this?
Wait, what do I know?
The book that was written before Titanic that had remarkable similarity. You know, like how everyone talks about the Simpsons predicting the future, like President Trump's election and blah blah blah. There was a book released before Titanic sunk that basically predicted a lot.
Oh, I think I did hear about that. I can't remember what it was called, but...
Do you remember anything about it?
No, I remember that being a thing, but that's literally it.
Okay, so this should have come up earlier. Actually, it should have come up when we were talking about Molly Brown. I'm trying to find a webpage for it at the moment. Sorry, I'm trying to find it, plus I'm trying to delay for Thunder to get back as well. Partly because I think part of this is one of those things where, like, obviously I grew up in an age where I had information around me, but it was information passed down from other people, right? Watching TV, blah blah blah.
Yeah, same place.
Then
it was called
then came the age of the internet, where you could find out everything. And a lot of the things that I learned before the age of the internet, I didn't really question. Do you know what I mean? You just accepted.
Yeah.
Well, like Pluto is not really a planet.
Well, no, because that's a stupid example. If you come up with a stupid example, that's a stupid example because Pluto was always a planet before. It was declassified at some point.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean it. But that doesn't mean that we were fed false information. We had the right information at the time, and then they just decided to declassify it. A point at which I firmly believe is fucking wrong, and they should reclassify it as a planet. Poor old Pluto.
Do you mean
Anyway.
the same thing about Uranus? How we say it?
Right. The point is, I'm gonna tell this as I read it, rather than what I'm trying to look up online. Right.
Go on then.
What I heard before, and how true this is. So yeah, I don't know. I'm starting to question it now. But what I heard before was that there was a book published years and years before Titanic's demise, and the book featured. It was a purely novel book, purely what's it called, non-fiction book, and the book featured a ship called Titania.
I've heard of this.
And Titania set sail on its maiden voyage, didn't have enough lifeboats on board,
Yeah,
it struck an iceberg, and it sunk. And most people died, a few survived, blah blah blah. Striking similarities, right? Now,
I need to find that note.
the weird thing is that its sister ship, Titania's sister ship in the book, was called. This is sending shivers through my body even as I'm trying to say it. But the sister ship was called Olympia or something, right? It was similar. So Olympic, Titanic, Olympia, Titania, right? And the sister ship also went through similar aggravations before Titania was set sail.
Yeah.
Now, the weirdest thing about it is, as I said, Molly Brown, who we spoke about earlier, what I heard originally is that Molly Brown had a copy of this book. She had read the book. She had a copy with her on Titanic whilst they were on the cruise. Which is why, when everything started kicking off, this is why she was so determined to get to a lifeboat, and why she was so determined to try and get the crew to go back to the ship to find survivors. Now, how much of that is true, I don't know, because as I say, this was before research. This was something I don't even know where I heard it from.
Yeah.
But yeah, one of those points where it's like it was predicted in such crazy detail that it's unbelievable to think that it could have actually happened.
Yeah.
Which probably leads to our first point, of which, yeah, it's not true. Yeah, I know. I mean, I've heard it as well, but I can't turn around and say that it's true, right?
No, I remember reading this in a newspaper. Well, my nan used to read me these in a newspaper.
Oh, it's used as an Easter egg in the Adventure Out of Time. Literally, hold on. Look, this website I've just found says about this, and it like looking on it, it talks about a novella called Futility. Just another story written by Robertson, who spent his young years working on ships, promoted to first mate. While Futility brought back into the spotlight and even renamed the wreck of Titan. That was it. It was called Titan. Yes, that's why. Okay. Futility tells the story of fictional Titan, not Titania, Titan, the largest ocean liner in the world, widely known as Unsinkable, sailing across the northern Atlantic. Before the Titan can complete its journey, it hits an iceberg and consequently capsizes. The ships are almost exactly the same size. They were only 25 meters apart. Both sinkings happened in April, and both ships only had just above the legal minimum number of lifeboats, leading to a catastrophic loss of life. So more or less, obviously a lot of the story, a lot of the bits that I'd heard were embellished, possibly by me, maybe at some point. But here, so the fictional ship has been used as an Easter egg in the classic 90s video game A Titanic Adventure at a Time. It's mentioned in the 55 book about Titanic, A Night to Remember, which I have somewhere. And it was even referenced in the Doctor Who audio drama, A Wreck of the Titan. So yes, I got the details slightly wrong. It was called Titan, not Titanic. But yeah, and I think this is probably why I say Molly Brown had it on her, because I think it's mentioned in the game. So I probably saw that from there. But yeah, 14 years before the Titanic sunk, 14 years before, a ship was called Titan in a book, and it also sunk, and it was the largest ship, unsinkable, hits an iceberg, capsizes. You know, it's coincidence. I mean, it is like people will turn around and say, coincidence. I think not. It must be a conspiracy, you know? Like, but clearly, there is no way that there's... Even if you're gonna... I don't understand people who do things like this, right? Because if you turn around and you say, oh, somebody read that book and then went, do you know what? Let's sink the Titanic in the same... Why would you use a book for... Do you know what I mean? Like...
Yeah.
Why, if you're gonna do it as a conspiracy, why would you use something that's previously been published as the basis of your conspiracy? The way in which to do it? Like, it doesn't make sense. It makes sense to use it for reference, but it doesn't make sense just to copy it completely. And so many conspiracies all the time. And by the way, guys, we're every Friday, apart from next Friday, because next Friday we're going to be doing Space Engineers. But after next Friday, we are going to be doing this sort of thing every Friday. And...
Hey, we can do the Chernobyl thing next week. It's more or less in the same...
Right, as I've already
We're
said,
doing
next
Space
Friday we're
Engineers
doing
next
Space
Friday.
Engineers event, because it was already posted in. But after that, every Friday we are going, and I have plenty of plans, funders, so if there are any ideas that you guys want discussed on this, send them to me. The only thing that I want to know, actually, is do you guys want to have, like, do you want to have pre-prepared knowledge? Do you guys want to know what we're doing or what we're going to be discussing? Or do you want to, like, just jump in, listen, figure it out, chat about it?
I mean, I quite like the jumping in kind of way. Keeps it interesting. But that's me.
Yeah, maybe a little bit of knowledge of, like, okay, this is what we're gonna be talking about. But, like, no specific topics about it.
So I guess what we'll probably do is that I'll turn around and I'll state, maybe if I turn around and state what, like, just each week, if you message me then and just ask me, then I'll tell you what it's going to be about. And then, like, on the day I'll tell people what it is, so that those who want to be surprised can be surprised when they come along. And those who don't want to be surprised can message me and they can do a bit of research and stuff. Yeah? Maybe?
Yeah.
Because I think the idea behind it is... There are plenty of things, like Jebster will tell you, I've been talking to him about my ideas, things I have even more than I've been talking to Jebster about as well. So...
We're not watching you eat spaghetti on stream again.
I have about 10 ideas to talk about in terms of a podcast thing. Like, that's going to be really, really crazy. And leading off of that and going on to that sort of, like, really mystic side can actually, like, will seriously fuck with your minds and will blow your minds up.
I like my mind.
I mean, my plan is kind of to get you guys as fucked up as I am, really, you know? Like, through watching so much or just from discussing so much crazy shit, you'll start to wonder whether you're even a human, you know?
Oh, I could have. Oh, I should have opened those magazines I've got. They had Oh God, what's going on?
We need to have sections with like
Oh
theme
God,
songs
I
and
misheard
shit.
that. Then for a moment, I thought you was going to say something else. Then I was like, what?
We need to have points at which we have like Thunder's Factual Center and, you know, stuff like that, where we
Yeah,
have like
versus
little theme
yours.
songs behind it and shit, you know.
No, years ago there was a model that you could make of Titanic, a wooden one.
Hold on 1 second. Thunder's Factual Center. Okay, go on.
No, and each week it gave you instructions on how to make this part, how to put this part together, and it also told you other bits of Titanic. I've got all the holders up here at the top. I've just only remembered. And I was also looking for my old cutout collection.
I don't know where my
newspapers from 1912, which is what I showed.
I don't know where mine are. I don't know where my wood build Titanic is.
I know where mine
or
is.
the books are, but I did have the same. And
mine are up there.
You say about the news thing, right here. For absolutely years, I've had this just sat. Literally, it is sat in here. Now, this isn't. This is historical headlines.
What is it? Yeah, there's similar things I've got, but I know I've got more than that.
I've got more than this, but this
I've
is
got more than
historical
three,
headlines.
which is what I found. I've got them all in an old takeaway thing, because when the movie came out, they started reprinting these old things in the Daily Mail of what they had back then.
So this is historical headlines, and this one right here is the Titanic sinking. Oh, this is.
Yep, I had that one.
This is the Titanic sinking, and it is like. Sorry, I need to be careful with this. So this is the April 16th, 1912 newspaper.
Mine was from
with centre spread page of the Titanic sinking. Also in this is.
I've got that. Is that the actual one or a reprint?
It's going to be a reprint, isn't it? Made to look old.
I've got
it's not going to be original.
Yeah, I've got that one as well somewhere.
Also has, I think these are the full papers at that time. So this is.
Yeah, where are they?
This is the World Trade Center.
What?
This is the World Trade Center paper.
I never got that. Oh, don't tell me you got that one of Japan and that title surge, have you?
Well, all of these are all what came in, like, it's got this pack. So it's those, it's the Golden Boys, which I believe is, oh yeah, it's the England team coming back from the 4-2 win. You've got the Kennedy assassination and Man on the Moon.
The Kennedy assassination was quite a skill issue from Kennedy. Clearly, he didn't know to bring the armored car that time around. So it was on him for not being prepared and choosing the correct loadout.
Maybe the Kennedy assassination is another one that we will talk about. It's another one that I know quite a lot about. But how dare you turn around and state that? How was he meant to survive the magic bullet that was fired from his Secret Service agent behind him into his car?
Oh, God.
No.
Conspiracy theories!
No, I believe it was a heart attack.
Assassination theory thing.
Yes, definitely a heart attack.
Yes.
I think
in his brain.
What we will probably do is we'll probably go on to, I think the very next one we do, which will be 2 weeks' time, will be a. Maybe we should just do the Kennedy as one.
them historically time accurate?
Maybe we should just do that as a thing. Because the Kennedy assassination is quite in depth and has a lot of conspiracy behind it, and there's a lot that I can talk about with that. Yeah, maybe. Maybe we do that as a full-on one. You've added another. That's like 11 ideas now I've got in order to do. Like, shit, man. I'm gonna have ideas coming out my arseholes for years in terms of doing podcast ideas.
We would have never have seen Doctor Who if it hadn't been for well.
Doctor Who is an okay program, but like, come on, dude. Nobody gives that much of a shit about Doctor Who, right?
I've never really been a Doctor Who fan.
I stopped watching after
the
Doctor became a woman, and now it's a black man. I'm like,
oh wow, racist much?
No,
You
not
fucking
racist.
arsehole.
I lost the plot like somewhere along Peter Capaldi anyway.
Yeah, I kind of stopped watching after a few anyway. But I mean, they were alright. And Torchwood was alright as well. I like Torchwood the series, but you know.
What was this?
Torchwood, the spin-off of Doctor Who, which was just fucking, what's his name? What's his name? Captain Jack. Yeah, I think he was a great character. Absolutely fucking brilliant character. He was awesome and funny as fuck. And then with Torchwood, when they're like split time, so it's like normal humans doing it with Captain Jack just being this extremely camp fucking version of somebody who was like, camp characters in TV shows are funny as fuck. They are really, really good for comedy value. Camp characters in real life are annoying as fuck.
Yeah.
I've known a few people who are extremely camp, and it is so, like on TV and programs and stuff, it's funny, and it's like...
You know you're talking about all Fullback's friends, don't you?
You appreciate it and it all gets like this, but when people do it in real life, it just feels so over the top, and like, if I met Louis Spence in real life, I'd want to bury him under the patio. Like,
I want to bury him under the patio now. Like, he's so irritating.
I know, right? It's too much, right? Like,
yeah, he's constantly being the center of attention. It's like, wind your fucking neck in.
And
oh my God.
to be fair, this isn't necessarily just because he's camp. It's not a gay thing. It's not a homophobic thing. It's because he's him. It's like, I don't care about, so...
Anyone else?
No, you went robotic.
Oh, well.
Just wait. Let it settle, let it settle. Has it settled? Has it settled?
I think so.
Ish.
Yeah, ish.
Oh, that's weird.
Seems a little bit low, but...
Ooh, no.
Alright, before it gets worse, I'm gonna go off. See you later.
Yeah. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
Alright, I'm gonna take a quick break. I think... Oh, wait. Has that reconnected now? Is it all good?
No, it's grey from you.
I disconnected and then reconnected, and I got my little sound alert for when I come in.
Yeah, that sounds a lot better now.
Yeah. I don't know. PC and I don't know. Some of it was having issues for a minute.
Well, I have just delivered down to the oil refinery, and now back to fucking gas station. The 2 gas stations I need.
Alright. Fine. I'm just going to loot, and then I will be right back.
Yeah, I'm also
Who
gonna get
remembers
something to
these?
eat, I think.
Any, you see, I think we're done on Titanic for tonight, right?
Yes,
No, we're not.
very much.
Go on in, Thunder. What else have you got? I did ask you earlier, and you said you didn't have anything. So if you've got anything else, then say it now. I'm going to the loo. I'll see you in a sec. I can still hear you, so.
Hang on. Did you hear what they did with the refits to Olympic? Did you hear what they did with the refits to Olympic?
Just tell us.
Towards the end of 1912, when there were loads of strikes going on and there was a shortage of lifeboats, because after Titanic went down, all ships had to obviously be provide enough lifeboats for everyone. There was a high demand in lifeboats, and not every ship could sail because they didn't have enough. And certain crews refused to sail if they didn't have a spot on a lifeboat. So they brought Olympic back into port for a refit. She was a completely different ship after they did the refit. Titanic had a double bottom, basically a double hull, and what they did, they gave it a double skin as well. But in order to do all this, they had to take out all the engines, the boilers, everything. And the only way to get them out was to take all the funnels off the ship as well. So they had to come off. The boilers had to come out before all these upgrades could be made. They also increased several of the watertight bulkheads. Several of them went up to the top watertight deck. So you had like 3 compartments. The fourth one, the one that was between the fourth and third, would meet the watertight deck. So basically, they divided it up into like these 3 compartments are one group, watertight deck, next 3, watertight deck, and so on and so on, all the way to the back of the ship. And then obviously they increased the lifeboats from 16, I think it was, to 64. Did you hear about all that?
Well, I mean, the biggest thing I took from that is about increasing the lifeboats, and of course they had to do that because maritime law changed after Titanic.
Did you hear how they had to, what they had to do to Olympic though, to make some of these changes?
Had what you just spoke.
All the boilers had to come out, which meant they had to remove all the funnels from the deck, off the top deck, to get them out. And the engines as well, because they had to make the whole...
Kind of understandable, right? If you change a whole ship's design because you need to increase the space and shit, then you're gonna have to change everything, right?
Mm.
And it's even harder to do that when you've already got everything in place.
Yeah,
right?
I know. But they did it.
Well, of course they had to fucking do it, otherwise the ship wouldn't have been able to sail anymore.
Well, it would have still been able to.
No, it wouldn't have done. If they hadn't made the changes,
well,
then
put the lifeboats on, that was a thing, but if they hadn't put the extra whole thing in and all that stuff, it would have been okay still, but... one more look. Where have got here?
Changes. Alright, so is that it? Is that the last
that's the
last point? Alright, so ironically enough, what time? Oh, do you know what? I think we should stick around or at least continue talking about Titanic for the next 13 minutes.
Why is that?
What's the time?
11:30 UK time.
It's 27 past 11, right? When did Light Hollow When did
Oh,
Fleet
20 minutes
report?
to midnight.
23:40 is when he announced the iceberg in sight.
Why don't we talk about this more Sunday?
Because we're not doing a podcast stream Sunday. What the fuck? Like,
I love your. I love it. Do that.
did it today. Like, it would have been perfect. Like, yeah, do it Sunday would have been like hitting it at 23:40. The 112 years, by the way, guys. 112 years since Titanic sunk. That's like, I think that's crazy. I remember waiting for the 100 years. So,
Yeah, I do as well.
what other things have people waited? Because like, so I went down.
No, you did not go down on Titanic.
I went down to Portsmouth and sorry, yeah, like that's an involuntary reflex whenever I mention that town. I went down there to watch the celebrations of the 200-year Battle of Trafalgar. That was really fun. Anybody else done like gone to any momentous like anniversary celebration stuff?
Ah, not personally.
Thunder clearly hasn't. So Nearer My God to Thee is the most popular song. Like, it's the only... every time I look, it's all Nearer My God to Thee. But there is another song, right? I mean, we could play it again. We could play it again, but... everything says Nearer My God to Thee. Now, this is the thing that I think Nearer My God to Thee is just too perfect. Like, I could understand the band doing it, but I also feel as though it's just... it's too perfect to say afterwards. Like...
What, you mean... what it represents?
I fully believe that Nearer My God to Thee was played by the band at some point. I don't necessarily believe it was the last song.
What?
And I think Nearer My God to Thee is the one that is featured in the film as well.
Well, they didn't really sing it, did they? They kind of just played it.
They played it. Okay, fine. But I said the last song played, right?
You said... yeah.
Whatever.
I don't know what the other song is, though.
What song do people think?
Do you hear the people sing?
There's only two that's ever been in contention, and one is Nearer My God to Thee, and I never remember what the last one is. And I can't even find it now by looking around.
I wish I knew where all my Titanic cuttings were. I think they're
So,
in my old...
maybe I mean I can play it over anyway. It's 4 minutes long, so maybe we'll wait for 5 minutes and then start playing it. Start playing it as the time hits 23:40 for the time that the Titanic hit the iceberg. We're 2 days too early, but you know.
I need to head off now anyway, because I'm getting up early tomorrow.
Wow, you disrespectful bastard! Not staying.
Yep. No, I've got to go and have a shower and make sure I've got everything for tomorrow.
Oh man,
Sounds
catch you later.
No worries, I shall talk to you all again.
Yeah. Alright, so I wanted to talk about the Heart of the Ocean earlier as well, but I can't really find too much. Yeah, I can't find too much about it apart from the film.
I know it's in the museum.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's no real validity for it being on Titanic. It's just like, but there's cursed items that was meant to be like Titanic was meant to be carrying a sarcophagus of somebody, so there was meant to be a curse. And there's some other item that was meant to have caused repeated deaths amongst its owners. And that was on Titanic as well. It's one of the deep, dark mystery, like...
Probably that jade statue which contained radiation.
Yeah, because radiation took down Titanic, right?
No, I thought it was ginger people.
Same thing, right?
I mean, I'm actually
Oh,
surprised.
God, I've got to tell you. Right, when they did the 100th anniversary thing, they made a cruise ship towards the wreck, right? And on board, they had a dessert called the iceberg.
I mean, yeah, why not?
Yeah,
To
that's
be
like
fair,
serving.
desserts are sometimes
But that's
actually
like
just
serving
made that way.
JFK's family a rifle trifle.
Right. Thunder.
Yes.
We'll have a discussion on a certain incident in a couple of weeks. We'll probably do Kennedy assassination next. But then I think we do Kennedy assassination, but then after that I have a big one that's a real...
Well, it's got to be the Chernobyl thing, because...
No, because what's there to talk about, though? This is the point. We want something that we can talk about loads, right? And I don't think, like, Chernobyl doesn't really have much of a, like, real talking point. I have something that has a huge talking point. Oh shit, I'm out of fuel. I have something that has a massive talking point. That, as I said earlier, like the guide is to get you guys, like...
You know about the Twin Towers and the gold on board, is it? Or gold in it, is it? Or was it about the Hindenburg?
Oh, look at you trying to figure out what it is. Like, don't worry about it. You'll find out.
Yeah, I'd rather know in advance of history.
Alright, well... Before it comes up, you can message me and ask me what we're talking about then. And I'll tell you.
I'll do it now. Message me now.
I'm not going to message you now, because it's like 3 weeks away, right?
But I could die. I could get hit by an iceberg.
Well, in which case you're not going to be there, so you don't have to worry about it.
But I mean, I like...
Wait, hold on. Let's change. So we're no longer doing Titanic now. We are finished with the Titanic discussion. So let's get rid of the.
There's a YouTube video of all the Titanic scenes of from all the films of when it struck the iceberg.
Wait, apparently we are doing Titanic now. What?
Should we play that? I've got it somewhere.
We're only 4 minutes away. Well, I don't. We're now at the right time. I need to play the song, right? I need to play the song to finish it out. To actually officially finish the Titanic sequence. Which my current game has decided it's not going to go to the checkpoint. All this time, by the way, Calantris, I've been 3 hours in the police car. Do you know how many levels I've gained? Calantris. Fucking mute,
Hey.
you do.
What?
3 hours in the police car. How many levels do you think I've obtained?
I don't know. 10.
Just over 1.
Ah. I drove down to the thing with 2 containers and I gained 3 levels on the truck. From 45 to 48.
Just
now
over
driving back.
one fucking level in 3 hours. Anyways, the homage. This is such a beautiful song as well, by the way. I know it's a religious song, I know not everyone's on tune with that, but it's still a beautiful song. And by the way, Twitch, don't you dare fucking mute this part of the audio. This is a royalty-free song, I've made sure of that. We are going to do it through the entirety, because it is going to lead up to the time at which Titanic hit the iceberg. Possibly need to turn it down slowly. Can I do that? I think we're okay. I kind of want to sing the lyrics. Don't know them, but I kind of want to sing them. I only know 3 words. Oh, no, wait. I know 5 lyrics from the song.
Oh, I just found the video.
I just want everyone to imagine right now, like, listening to this, and imagine the ship going down. Like, imagine those last moments that you can remember from watching James Cameron's fucking film.
Couldn't you at least put a violin in rather than a piano?
Hey, what can I do? It's royalty-free music.
I found it as well. All the collisions of the film over the years and series, all the mod supercars. There it is.
Can't hear you.
Have a look at the chat. All the collisions from Titanic from all the films in one single film.
Don't need audio. Wait, is this not the same thing you posted earlier?
No.
You sure?
Yeah. No, that's not what I posted.
That is what you posted. That's literally what I just clicked on. The last post on the thing.
Are you sure?
Yes.
What? At 23:39?
Have a look in the chat. Oh fuck.
I posted again.
Maybe that was my bad.
That was your bad.
Yeah, maybe that was my bad. What is this? Wait. Okay, so yeah, Titanic film 2012, SOS Titanic 1979.
You might want to rewind it back to the beginning.
All right, whatever.
In Natch and yes.
Remember, guys, this is the time 112 years ago, in 2 days, that Titanic struck the iceberg. We're gonna end our journey.
Yeah, you
watching
can,
how
you can
Titanic
tune in
ended
for another
its-
2.5 hours if you want, and we'll watch the sinking.
Oh yeah, because you're gonna be around in 2.5 hours, right? I mean, I'll be around. Pick up, you bastard!
Now, if this was real, that phone would be ringing for another a total of 15 seconds.
So is this taking all like movie clips and putting them in the
all the collision.
all in the right timeline, right?
Yeah. My tea! He just spilt the tea! Was that? Do you think that was iced tea?
This is wrong.
Water temperature.
It's not all in the same timeline. Because Titanic 1953 has only just rung the bell, whereas everyone else has already taken fucking action. It's not all in the same time. What are you on about?
There's ice ahead.
And now, Night to Remember has only just rung the bell. Oh look, Titanic 1953, look at this here. This is so exciting. So, like, really dramatic film coverage, right? I can't hear you because of what's going on here.
SOS Titanic, they used the Queen Mary.
Okay, there's a lot to keep your eyes on here, but it's all it's out of sync. None of it's in the same time. This is like, it's a really good idea to put together, but they put it together wrong. I know what they've done. Yeah. No. All they've done is they've taken the point of collision and they've edited the videos either side of that just to put them together. So all the videos that like time up in terms of the time of collision, but they don't link up in any of the other scenes. They should have edited these down and cut them in and like dropped them in at a certain point. Like, I don't know. That annoys me. That annoys me. Sorry, I can't watch that anymore. That annoys me. Because you could have done so much more of a like good effort at that. Like
that 1996 film was absolutely shit. I'm sorry.
There's such a good concept there though of taking all the films that have been done on Titanic and editing them together to show them all showing what the films portrayed at that moment, but at that moment not having some of them turning around and like already steering away from the iceberg and then another film going, iceberg dead ahead. It's like, they fucking know it's already been seen. Like, what the fuck are you on about? It was over there.
Here's your thing about California.
No.
Very sure California does nothing.
We're done with Titanic. We are actually. I'm gonna change the podcast title.
Thing, then?
You got to stay there forever now.
No,
I mean, we're still gonna be chatting, right? If you're still here, we're still gonna be chatting, and we're gonna do now. You know how like we used to do an after party for the GTA stuff. Maybe we'll turn it into an after party of the podcast stuff, right?
Oh, I just left it.
Cunt. After party. Alright, so we're in the after party of the podcast, so we're no longer talking about Titanic. Let's get rid of the Titanic thing on the screen. I'm just gonna delete it completely, because why not? We're not gonna do... I don't think we need to do Titanic again, so we're not gonna do Titanic again. I think this was like... It was nice, it was good. Spoke about it. I drunk a fucking lot. Did you... Wait, what did I just delete? I deleted that, really? Okay, right. Right, remove that.
50 miles it was. I'll pay for you.
50? That's a long way.
Yeah.
I thought it was closer than that.
That's about. Ooh.
Oh, what the fuck have I just been increasing?
Actually, if Titanic had been fitted with the wave breakers that most modern ships have, it probably would have been able to turn.
I mean, again, you cannot hold something that many years ago to today's standards. That's just not. That's not realistic. That's like turning around and saying that. Oh fuck! I can't get the follower goal now to be right. That's close enough, I guess. Alright, so yeah, I mean, no, I can't say that. I can't say what I'm thinking. I can't do it. I mean, in the circumstances that I'm thinking, you can hold previous events to today's standards, because they actually fucking do. But
what's that?
Well, I was thinking things like a little bit softer, but along the lines of like Epstein and Epstein Island and stuff. At the end of the day, I'm not. Hold my hands up. I'm not saying that Epstein Island was right at any point in time. Epstein Island was always wrong, but the idea of celebrities sleeping with people and them not necessarily being of age probably happened a lot more than people would like to believe.
Oh, there was rumours that Captain Smith should have had some of his crew try and build like tiny rafts for people.
Thunder, did you not understand the point at which we said we finished with Titanic now?
Yeah, but I just remembered that.
Doesn't matter, it's too late. Love the fact that you didn't mention what I was saying about Epstein at all. Alright, cool. Good. Moving on. The after party, after party. Clantress, what do you want to talk about?
I don't know.
What's your new sex toy, Clantress? Come on.
Oh, it's a 9-inch strap-on for my girlfriend. Why?
9-inch? What's the girth like on it?
It's thin.
Oh.
It's not that bad, actually. Feels good. Only thing is because she has a bit of a stomach, it didn't quite do well, so she just held it in her hand and did it that way. That's not vibration, though.
And this stream is sponsored by Love Honey. No, I'm joking. It's
not. No, it's not. Anyway,
you can pick it up from. No. I need to get sponsored by Love Honey. That'd be fucking funny as fuck.
Here, have fun looking it up.
Well, oh, you send it to me privately, okay. Right, okay, I understand. I'm not going to show it on stream. Don't think I'd be allowed to. I mean, I did.
No, you wouldn't be allowed to at all. Like most sex toys on Twitch will get you banned if you like show them completely.
I did an unboxing on YouTube years ago for sex toys.
Yeah.
As long as you mark it under educational, it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it was literally an unboxing. And
was that 2019?
I have no fucking idea, man.
Have a look.
No, I know, because I think I removed the video. I don't think the video is there anymore. I think I removed it. But yeah, I did an unboxing of sex toys. First ones I'd ever bought. And
He had his vibrator, his dildo.
no, it was the the fleshlight was the big thing.
Wow.
That fleshlight, and I still have that fleshlight, by the way, and still do use it on occasion. You know.
Question. Any of you heard of Belle Delphine's latest thing?
No, but I mean, the last biggest thing was she sold her bathwater. So what's she now selling? She actually selling her cum this time or something?
No.
No.
So Squish told me this because she found it on Twitter first. Surprisingly.
So Squish is following Belle Delphine. Okay.
No, she isn't.
Interesting.
No.
All right. Interesting.
No, so the reason for why is probably because she followed someone else and they put it up or like, oh yeah, here. Look at
don't try explaining it. Just crack on
Anyways,
with the story.
so the thing that Belle Delphine has got into now is making a life-size sex doll of her.
Okay. Do you know there was a fucking cracking. I see a lot of like prank shorts on YouTube, and there was a cracking one I saw the other day of a sex doll placed outside of a house. Yeah. And this woman goes up and she's like, "Oh my god, I can't believe somebody has just left this out on the curb like this." She was like, "Do you think it's even used?" And as she walks up to it, the sex doll comes to life. It's an actual woman, like, just dressed up. She is so good at acting it, though. She actually looks like a sex... Like, I watched it twice, and I actually couldn't believe that it was a real woman still. I don't know if it was faked or whatever, but if it was done very, very fucking... I wasn't going to give it more than 2 watches to check if it was fake, because that fucking annihilates my fucking watch algorithm on fucking shorts, done it, you know? But it was very, very, very fucking funny. Very clever. It was a compilation as well, though, so it was in the middle of a compilation. I had to watch the compilation twice.
Fair.
See, I see a lot of hate about YouTube Shorts, right? And so many people have said to me, "You've got to do YouTube Shorts. It's the way to get noticed on YouTube. It's the way, right?" YouTube Shorts pisses me off something chronic because, and TikTok does the same. To be fair, right? You sit there and you watch, and it is just like we could actually do it now. How could I do it?
I'm gonna go anyway because I need to go to the toilet and I want to go watch some videos.
Alright.
I'll see you next week. I'll probably be an hour late again. Well, I don't know. All depends what time I get
fucking
out.
not be. 8 o'clock is the start time. Fuck's sake, man.
Well, it all depends what time I get out of work.
It didn't depend on what time you got out of work tonight, fucker.
I was doing my task.
But yeah, like,
maybe we should have another stream of it, Titanic, but not for a while yet.
Maybe in the future. But there are, look, Thunder, there are so many more ideas that I want to do in terms of this idea of doing a podcast thing, because I think to be honest, we like that was fun tonight. I do want to creep people out of it. I do have an idea to creep people out of it. Well, I have several ideas. I want to focus on like.
I think about the book, by the way, about Titan and Olympia. I've got a newspaper cutting somewhere of that. It's in that folder.
Okay, I want to focus on like murder mysteries.
Oh no.
But be more like real mysteries and stuff as well. Yeah, because some of them are creepy and fucking funny.
How about? Oh, no.
Fuck. I want to do.
One thing We are not doing that stupid girl that disappeared in Portugal.
I want to do pretty soon. That's far too. Fucking Madeline McCann is far too lame for what I
We
want
are
to do.
not doing Home Alone, the real version.
I want to do things like the one that I want to do soon is Gypsy Rose. I want to discuss Gypsy Rose.
How about the 10-year-old girl that got pregnant?
I mean, possibly it's ideas. You can send them to me and I can look into them. But I want to do Gypsy Rose fairly soon because Gypsy Rose was only released from prison in December. So I want to do Gypsy Rose fairly soon.
What did they do? I don't even know about it.
Gypsy Rose murdered her mother after her mother was her mother had Munchausen's by proxy.
What?
Munchausen's by proxy.
What's that?
It's where you deliberately make your child ill because of benefits. Like, you deliberately do things to make your child ill. And Gypsy Rose's mother deliberately made her ill, made her believe she was ill, so much so that she went for her life believing she was ill, and then when she finally met a guy, they planned to kill her, and they did. So Gypsy Rose killed her mother, Dee Dee, and she's only just been released from prison. But there's a lot in terms of personal feeling and like what was right, who was wrong, should she have been imprisoned, etc., etc. There's a lot of that. There's a lot of rights and wrongs that can be discussed. I'm not going to discuss them now. This is a future podcast, man. I'm not going to go and lay out all of my fucking material right now, right?
I'm gonna say right now that was fucking deserved to kill the mother, and I don't think she will ever kill anyone again. Anyways, podcast on. Bye.
Shut the fuck up.
I'm going. Bye.
There's a lot that I want to discuss upon that case. That case, that's like gonna be. Oh, I want to say that's gonna be one of the unusual ones at which we just talk about the case, but it probably won't. There's gonna be loads where we're gonna end up just talking about the case.
Yeah.
Because there's gonna be. Yeah, just from some of those that I've got planned, there's gonna be loads that they're gonna have some crazy stories that are gonna lead to some crazy conversations, I hope. And that are gonna make people freak a bit out.
Yeah.
I want to freak people out. That's like, you know. I want people to feel a little bit uncomfortable. I want people to feel like a little bit unnerved about what. Yeah, because it makes you feel more human when you feel a little unnerved, right?
Oh.
Makes you feel as though it makes you feel alive.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go, guys. The end of the after party. As you can see, most people have left, so you're stuck with us. Just doing gameplay of Motortown. So I've been playing in the background. I hope it's worked out quite well. Because obviously we just had this sat in the background for other stuff. And I've not really been concentrating on the game. We really haven't gained much levels in Motortown whilst we've been doing this. So I've gained about 30 grand though. So it's been good for money. But we are going to end the podcast stream right here. And we're going to go ahead and raid off to somebody. So thank you all very much for watching. And we shall see you next week. Next week we are going to stray away from the podcast thing. But it'll be the last one. And then we're going to... instead we're doing an event that Calantris has set up.
Yep. On
Space Engineers. And then in the future, any other events like that will be done on a Saturday or a Sunday. But well, it won't be done on a Sunday because you won't set them up on a Sunday because you're not going to be here. But anyway,
I have my game day with my girlfriend.
Yeah. Right, but that's it. That's what we're going to do. We shall see you all later. Have fun. Good night. Bye bye.